It's Monday, June 29th. Today is Sacred Indigenous Artifacts, how First Nations leaders are trying to repatriate a significant collection of artifacts from Switzerland before they end up in private hands. Also today, the dangers of AI-generated ads in politics, why the increasing use of generative AI use in political ads or videos could contribute to the decline of trust in what people see online. Plus, fans erupted. Stefan Eustachio broke the deadlock in stoppage time, and Canada advances to the round of 16 with a 1-0 win over South Africa. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning. It is Monday, June 29th. I'm Daniel Halverson, filling in for Rochelle today and joined by Tandy Vera. And Canada Day is just a couple days away, but we have a couple shows to get through before that. Today, our Ainsley McPhail, she's up in the Interlake. Ainsley in the Interlake sounds like a CTV comedy series, but she's up at the Arborg Heritage Museum today, learning about kind of the history and culture in that area. So lots to look forward to there. And then a little later in the show, in the 7 o'clock hour, we're going to be joined by an Indigenous advocate, talked about the need for resources for the queer community in northern Manitoba. So that's coming up at 7:52. But this morning, I was woken up before my alarm by some thunder and lightning outside. How are things shaping up out there now?
Yeah, I was woken up by that too. 2:30 a.m. is when I woke up
Yep.
with that severe thunderstorm, when that warning by Environment Canada, which was actually lifted at about 5 a.m. So we're in the clear for now. Right now, the temperature is 20 degrees, so quite warm for this time. It's cloudy with the showering of rain right now. Winds are gusting southeast at 39 to 55 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling, and the humidity is sitting at 92%. So yes, as I said this morning, I was woken up by the thunderstorms at about 2:30 a.m. and I looked as quickly as I could at Environment Canada, and they put out a yellow warning, which lifted at about 5 a.m. right now. So that thunderstorm was about there for about 40 to 30 minutes with moderate rain. And as you can see right now through our Skywatch satellite image, there's so much activity happening for the morning time. As you can see, it was mostly tapering in from the west, coming into most of Winnipeg and Manitoba, and you can see there's so much activity, which is what we're going to experience today. We do have a 30% chance of rain and thunderstorms according to Environment Canada for the rest of the day, with showering outside right now at 5 a.m. So 6 a.m. right now, my mistake. But as you can see, lots of activity, and that's kind of how it's going to be for most of the day, even going into tomorrow evening. That cloud coverage covering most of Manitoba, and again, that rain, as you can see, that activity over there, it will be moderate to maybe even severe rain that we will be experiencing. But again, it's mostly coming in from the west and tapering into most of the province. Lots of activity for us, for Manitoba, for these next 2 days, so tomorrow and Tuesday. So just be prepared, have those raincoats and umbrellas close by, because we will experience that thunderstorm and rain. And by the time we get into Wednesday, it will be clearing mostly. As you can see, we're going to have mostly sunny and cloudy skies for the rest of the week. But again, for tomorrow and for today, you got to keep those raincoats and umbrellas close by.
Indigenous advocates are calling for immediate help to repatriate a significant collection of Indigenous artifacts from a private collection in Switzerland. Some worry if the artifacts aren't returned quickly, they could be split up and sold through private auctions. CTV's Alex Carpa reports.
First Nations leaders are trying to get their hands on these Indigenous artifacts, which are currently in Switzerland.
Right now, time is of the essence.
The items were in a privately owned museum near Zurich and contain what leaders say are sacred and culturally significant belongings. But with the museum now closed, Indigenous leaders fear sacred pipes and other ceremonial items could be sold off to private collectors. The Bringing Them Home project is now seeking help to raise upwards of $20 million to purchase the items.
There's a real urgency about this, that we are able to raise this money and return these items back to our people.
The artifacts, which include ceremonial items, beaded regalia, and historical weapons, originated from Indigenous nations across Canada, including Manitoba. Carl Stone was part of a delegation that traveled to see the collection firsthand last year and says these items hold a lot of meaning.
They're not things, just things you display like trophies. They're not They are sacred and they are holy.
Gerald Neufeld says the effort to bring the artifacts home is about more than preserving history.
This is a very important part of the whole healing process for our Indigenous people who live in this land.
If the repatriation effort succeeds, Rajat says organizers would consider establishing a museum in Winnipeg to house the collection. But for now, the focus remains on securing the artifacts before they disappear into private hands.
They could end up in Dubai or in New York. That would be utterly wrong.
The collection has been placed into storage while discussions about its future continues. Alex Carpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
A remarkable story of survival in Venezuela, where rescue crews are racing against the clock to find more victims of last week's deadly earthquakes. Search teams pulled a father and son alive from under the rubble of a collapsed building and carried them to a waiting ambulance. 5 days after a pair of quakes devastated the South American country, the death toll has climbed to nearly 1,500, with thousands more injured and many others missing. Once considered a bargain, more and more Manitobans now view our housing prices as unreasonably high. New data from the Angus Reid Institute finds 7 in 10 Canadians say the price to buy a home in their neighborhoods is high, a stark contrast to a decade ago. In Manitoba, 67% of respondents say prices are understandably or unreasonably high, a jump of 21% from 2016. Winnipeg saw a 23% increase, and over the past decade, the average house price in Winnipeg grew by 57%, from $273,000 to $427,000. The online survey of 4,200 Canadians was conducted between June 4th and 10th and has a margin of error plus or minus 2 percentage points, 19 times out of 20. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre wants the House Ethics Committee to look into Ottawa's plan to buy unsold condos in BC.
Who asked for this? Who lobbied for this? And who is benefiting from putting these condo losses on the backs of hardworking taxpayers?
Prime Minister Mark Carney announced a plan earlier this month to buy 2,200 unsold condos in BC. Those units would then be converted into affordable rent-to-own units. In a letter to the House Ethics Committee, Poilievre called the plan a bailout. Prime Minister Carney has said no developer asked for this from him directly. BC Premier David Eby has also suggested the plan may not move forward. And a new space to get a break from the sun opened in South Winnipeg on Saturday.
2, 1.
Jenna Park's new shade structure has 4 picnic tables, one of them with accessible seating. 2 benches were also added along the park's pathway. The South Point Residents Association has been pushing for upgrades to the outdoor space. The project was funded by the city's Communities Fund and Parks and Recreation Enhancement Program. Oh, well, Canada is through to the round of 16 at the FIFA World Cup thanks to a late goal from Stefan Eustaquio.
Here's Jacob Schaffelberg. Schaffelberg's ball into the box, headed away by Ocon. It's Eustaquio! Stefan Eustaquio in stoppage time!
I must have watched that a dozen times. That goal coming in the 2nd minute of stoppage time as Canada earned a hard-fought 1-0 victory over South Africa. The win is the latest first for the men's national team, as they never make the knockout stages before, let alone won a game. South Africa sat back and defended well for most of the match, but things really took a turn in the 75th minute.
The captain comes on with 15 minutes remaining in this round of 32 game, in the same stadium where he was injured.
Listen to those cheers. Alphonso Davies made his return to the Canadian lineup, stepping on the pitch for his nation for the first time in 15 months. He tore his ACL in a game versus the U.S. at LA Stadium in March 2025, and more recently suffered a hamstring injury in early May. He changed the game when he came on, forcing South Africa to focus on him, which ultimately gave Eustaquio the space to slot home the winning goal. Canada will face the winner of the Netherlands and Morocco on Saturday in Houston.
You guys showing your character. You guys are Canadian heroes. Canadian heroes. Canadian heroes for the future children of this country who play this sport. The sport has a big future because of you guys. You should be so proud of who you are. You should be so proud.
The overhead camera in the stadium gave Canadian fans a spot in Coach Jesse Marsh's post-game huddle where he made an impassioned speech. He congratulated them for not getting discouraged by South Africa's strong defending. And a married couple from North Dakota is hoping to slide their way into a world record. They renewed their vows for the 6th time this month on top of a water slide in Wisconsin. The couple is hoping to set 2 world records, the record for most vow renewals in a 30-day period, and the record for most times going down a water slide in a wedding dress, which they set 9 times. Now, taking a look at the current traffic situation around the Norwood Bridge. Not much to show you there, but if you do have any updates to share, text them to us at 10400. And we are joined now by Ainsley McPhail up in the Interlake. Ainsley in the Interlake, of course, at the Arborg Heritage Museum. Good morning, Ainsley. How you doing up there?
Hi, good morning. Well, welcome to Arborg. Last week we were in Beausejour at their Pioneer Village. Today we are at the Arborg Heritage Site where you can see 24 different buildings or displays, everything from a teepee to an outhouse, non-functional. And we're also going to be having a look at the Saunders Toy House. Coming up at 6:42, we're going to be looking at the Foreman's Vehicle, a sneak peek into over 100 years of history, rail history in the area. And it really was a mobile site to work and maybe even sleep. We're also going to be learning about some of the events that happen here in Arborg, from a Seniors Day to a market that you can take part in. Back to you.
Looking forward to that, Ainsley. Thanks so much. And now we turn to Tandy up on the roof. Now, no umbrella up there, a good sign for people heading out early this morning?
Well, right now, there's no showers right now for downtown Winnipeg, though it is quite humid and moist in the air. I'm actually feeling quite hot right now with my current blazer on. It's 20 degrees, winds are gusting southeast at 33 to 40 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity is sitting at 88%. Now, as I said, it's quite humid outside right now. And despite the fact that we were receiving some light showers this morning, for most of Manitoba, we do have that chance of light precipitation, according to Environment Canada, of 30%, and that's across the province. But right now, that temperature of 20 degrees is pretty nice for this time of year, but also with that rain, the humidity, you just want to be aware of that and maybe grab a raincoat and umbrella with you just in case as you're going out, and dress accordingly. So yes, though it might be raining later on, it still might be very warm and humid. So you just need to remember just to grab your raincoat just in case. Sorry, folks, I haven't had my morning coffee. I'm just waking up with you. I was up at 2:30 a.m. because of that thunderstorm, and we are taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Your Morning Winnipeg.
Weather is brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
Political parties appear to be stepping into the AI realm. Recently, the Conservative Party of Canada posted an ad using generative AI. CTV's Mike LeCouture on why some are warning more guardrails are needed.
We haven't eaten today.
Yeah, we're only technically hungry, though.
It's the latest Conservative attack ad, and it's made mostly with generative artificial intelligence. The ad is bookended with real TV clips, but the punchline is a play off Canada's economy being in a technical recession.
Only technically homeless.
They want to figure out what that line is.
Elizabeth Dubois specializes in political uses of AI at the University of Ottawa. She thinks political parties are testing the limits of the technology.
But I also think we're in for a bit of a reckoning with, what is appropriate and what isn't appropriate. There's a lot where we don't have good, strong social norms around these uses yet.
Labeling is one of those things experts hope becomes the norm. In the Conservatives' case, there is one at the bottom right of the screen. In a statement, the party's director of communications said, like many organizations, the CPC is exploring responsible ways to use AI to enhance its communications, adding it was created by Canadians who work in digital content.
Everywhere I go, they love Donald Trump.
The U.S. president has become famous for reposting generative AI videos. A 2025 study by the Social Media Lab at Toronto Metropolitan University showed 59% of Canadians say they no longer fully trust political news online because of possible AI manipulation.
If we do this survey this year, the number would be even higher, simply because of the prevalence of generative AI content online.
Nonpartisan civic organizations are also using AI. Build Canada created this ad calling on all governments to deliver on their promises, telling CTV News AI is part of their experimentation with various communication methods. In the political arena, former operatives believe safeguards must be in place for the next election.
And if there are not rules established, then we will see a level of disinformation and abuse that we have literally never seen before.
The recently tabled Safe Social Media Act would require social media companies to label synthetically generated content on their platforms. It says nothing about political parties having to do so, despite a recommendation by Canada's chief electoral officer 2 years ago. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
Huge swaths of Europe are sweltering under an intense heat wave. In Czechia, fire trucks had to spray crowds to try and keep them cool. The temperature near Prague hit 41.1 Celsius Sunday, breaking the record for a second straight day. Germany also marked a new record, hitting 41.7 degrees as police in Berlin used water cannons to cool people down. In France, an additional 1,000 deaths were reported when the heat wave reached its peak before moving west. Well, Saturday marked 1 year since Portage in Maine officially reopened to pedestrian traffic, and despite concerns from some that the busy intersection would become a hazard for people walking and biking, that doesn't seem to have been the case. According to Manitoba Public Insurance, there have been no collisions involving cyclists or pedestrians at the famous intersection since it reopened. In fact, there's only been one crash each involving a pedestrian and a cyclist in the past 5 years. Those happened in 2024 and 2023, respectively. There have been several dozen vehicle collisions, though, 96 so far this year and 152 in all of 2025. And speaking of downtown Winnipeg, it had the honor of hosting some talented artists over the weekend. Downtown Live took over the Burton Cummings Theatre on Saturday. 20 performers hit the stage performing everything from Bollywood fusion dance to beatboxing. The winner of the competition will perform at the upcoming Burt Block Party. The CEO of Downtown Winnipeg Biz says the event showed off the diverse culture of downtown Winnipeg.
We had a family band doing Jamaican music. We had an Indigenous hoop dancer that went into beatboxing. We have a young saxophone player. We have all ages. We have all genres. We had a magician that performed a Houdini-style event on stage. So really, we're seeing ages, cultures. It just really is representative of actually who is in downtown and what Winnipeg is made up of. And it's incredible talent and just these beautiful cultures.
Kate Fensky adds the Biz is trying to provide more unique and fun experiences for people living and visiting downtown. And if you saw her there, yes, the MC for the event was CTV's own Ainsley McPhail. Now, have you ever been at the ballpark and had some hot dog jealousy? This was during last week's series between the Rangers and Marlins. During a Bark at the Park event, one dog was enjoying its own hot dog while another gloomily looked on, desperate for its own. Definitely been there. Some road closures to remind you about this morning. The northbound median lane on Yonge Street will be closed from Portage to Ellis Avenue. On Wellington Crescent, the westbound curb lane will be closed between Academy Road and Harrow Street, and the northbound curb lane of Panet Road will be closed from Mission Street to Randers Drive. If you have any traffic tips or updates to share, text them to us at 10400.
Traffic is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. No appointment needed.
Now looking through our live eye right now, mostly cloudy. The showering has stopped outside as I did the rooftop hit. The Bat Fitter Live Eye is brought to you by Bat Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. So right now in Winnipeg, we are sitting at currently 20 degrees, which is quite warm for this time of year. Same with Gimli at 20 degrees as well, and in Brandon, 18 degrees. And that's kind of the temperatures we're going to be experiencing for most of today. Those double digits, those mid to high double digits for most of the province. However, looking up into the north with Lynn Lake, it'll be about 15 to 16 degrees across there, with Churchill currently at 3 degrees, so still quite chilly for this time of year. But again, for most of the province, it's going to be those mid double digits of 15 and above, between 15 to 24, high of 24 for most of Winnipeg today. And looking at our satellite image for this morning, now as I mentioned, at about 2:30 a.m. I was woken up by thunderstorms, as you can see by most of the activity that we're seeing right now on our satellite image. And Environment Canada put up a warning, a yellow weather warning, which was lifted by 5 a.m. today. So again, it was about 30 to 40 minutes of that thunderstorm and that rain. That was quite intense with moderate to severe rain, and that was across the province, except in the north, as you can see. But it will taper off eventually. We do have that 30% chance of rain and showers, possibly, or thunderstorms. As you can see, by the time kids head to school, it's going to be 20 degrees, so still quite warm for this time of year. But again, that chance of showers, so you want to grab a raincoat, grab an umbrella just in case, because that you might be caught by some rain. And looking into our 7-day forecast, the good news is it's only these 2 days that we might experience these thunderstorms or rain. Looking to the rest of the week, it's mostly going to be sunny with those cloudy skies. So yeah, good times ahead for us. And now looking at your Sky Watch pick of the day, such a beautiful sunset in Victoria Beach. Thank you so much, Maddie. Keep the pictures coming, please. And we're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Your Morning Winnipeg.
It's time now to see our sports team moment. Today's picture is from Team Boutte. This curling team won Canada Games trials, and they will be representing Manitoba at the 2027 Canada Winter Games in Quebec City. Congratulations, and thanks, Blaine, for sharing this photo. To participate in the contest, tell us your most memorable fun team moment. Attach a picture, and you'll be entering into a draw to win a $100 Chicken Chef gift card, with draws happening every week. Head to the contest page on our website, ctvwinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form with your answer and picture. Good luck.
Your Manitoba sports team moment brought to you by Chicken Chef, where memories are made.
A lot of Canadian fans went to Los Angeles to watch as one of the greatest moments in our nation's sport history played out. CTV's Andrew Johnson was also there capturing the excitement.
Their day started here when they took over a bar, turned it into Canada House, and got busy ordering bacon and eggs and beer for breakfast.
We might not experience this again in our lifetime.
Which is why so many were willing to make the last-minute trip, no matter what it took.
We left Cambridge, drove to Buffalo, went from Buffalo down to Dallas, Dallas to here, got here, found a hotel, don't know the city at all, but we found everybody here.
For James Crawford, the journey started 40 years ago.
This is myself on the right.
He was in Mexico to watch Canada at the 1986 World Cup. He has been at every World Cup game the men's team has played ever since.
Completing the dream, watching Canada for 50 years.
Then, 100 strong, they marched through the streets of Los Angeles. A goosebump moment, especially poignant in light of the politics of the past year. The game itself, with its storybook ending in the final minutes, a goal to send Canada to the round of 16, sent emotional fans streaming out of the stadium.
I may have shed a tear. It was amazing.
For Vancouver's captain, Canada, it was a stunning result.
The shot, the corner, the win. It all happened so fast. Yes. My brother's going to the medical tent. I think he's having a jammer.
No.
Yeah, it's exciting.
And now the team that has come further than any before it in Canadian men's soccer history will play its next match in Houston. Some of these fans will meet them there.
For another like 8 or 12 grand or 15 grand or something, we could get to Houston. You know, I'll go home and sell a vehicle or something.
That next match for Canada in Texas on July 4th will not be an easy one. They'll face either Morocco or the Netherlands, two heavyweights ranked in the world's top 10. But for the fans who witnessed history here today in Southern California, anything is now possible. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Los Angeles.
Degrees right now, mostly cloudy outside with a chance of showers, winds gusting southeast at 33 to 50 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity is sitting at 88%. So also good to note that it's also quite humid outside, so you want to keep that in mind. Grab that raincoat and that umbrella just in case, but remember it's also humid outside. And looking at our satellite image, I'm going to step out of the way here so you can see kind of over Winnipeg. You can see how we had that thunderstorm at about 2:30 a.m. around Winnipeg, Dauphin, Brandon, etc. And it was quite intense with moderate rain, but as you can see, it eventually tapered off. It lasted about 40 to 50 minutes, with Environment Canada putting in yellow weather warning for most of the province. Now, looking into what we're going to be having for today, a high of 24 degrees, but again, that 30% chance of a thunderstorm and rain, so keep that in mind. Winds gusting northeast at 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. And by the time we get into the evening time, again, it's going to be 16 degrees. The winds will decrease, gusting south at 15 kilometers per hour, with again that chance of rain and thunderstorms. So we want to keep that in mind, and it's going to taper into Tuesday. Unfortunately for tomorrow, we're going to have the same high of 24 degrees, but we still have that chance of thunderstorm and rain. But there is good news quite ahead. Good news comes to those who wait. Looking into our 5-day forecast, by the time we reach Wednesday, for most of the week, it's going to be mainly sunny with a few clouds in the sky. But again, those high double digits of 20s, which is what we want to experience for this time of year. So it's going to be a great week to go out and take a walk.
Wildfires have forced 3 northern communities to evacuate for the second year in a row.
This is something we didn't want to do. Stay safe out there. We'll do everything we can to make sure you have homes to come back to.
On Saturday, the town of Lynn Lake issued a mandatory evacuation order due to a wildfire posing an imminent threat. The community, about 800 kilometers from Winnipeg, has about 600 residents who evacuated by road and air. Meanwhile, 2 northern First Nations are evacuating their residents due to wildfire impacts. In a statement on Sunday, MKO said residents of Marcel Colombe First Nation and OPCN are evacuating. Marcel Colombe First Nation, located as well about 800 kilometers northwest of Winnipeg, has activated its evacuation plan. In OPCN's case, the community is under a state of emergency and evacuating priority residents, those in need of medical assistance due to wildfire activity that has cut off access to Highway 493, the only road into OPCN. CTV News reached out to the Canadian Red Cross and Indigenous Services Canada for additional information. After months of complaints from residents and businesses, the Winnipeg Police Service is cracking down on open drug use in our city. Last Wednesday, officers began fanning out over several spots known to be problematic and took action. Already a number of people have been taken into custody and to hospital. As CTV's Jeff Keel shows you, police say they underestimated the scope of the problem.
After ongoing complaints about open drug use on Winnipeg streets and sidewalks, police are cracking down.
In response to complaints that have been mounting from the community, I'll say it, for months and months now. It is not something our community should be expected to accept.
Police started targeting problem areas, mostly in or near downtown. During the 10-day sweep, officers are confiscating drugs from people, making arrests and sending people to the hospital or directing them to services.
Illegal open drug use and trafficking will not be tolerated.
Mayor Scott Gillingham is backing this. He says they have a moral obligation to help those struggling with addiction while keeping the public safe.
People should not have to breathe in toxic drug smoke when they're waiting for a bus. Parents should not have to worry about needles in the park. Business owners should not have to deal with open drug use at their front doorstep.
After just 2 days, police say they've already dealt with 100 people openly using drugs. Of those, 25 were arrested, most for court breaches or outstanding warrants, and 3 were sent to the drug detention center.
In terms of data, I'll tell you, I think that I won't say grossly underestimated, but we underestimated the scope of this problem.
For many in Winnipeg, the crackdown is long overdue.
Right now, there was a guy standing here, just using drugs right now, and I'm like, why are people doing that?
Others aren't as comfortable with the plan.
I think just sweeping them away is probably not the answer.
A number of the city's outreach groups were caught off guard by this. They say workers have witnessed police detain people experiencing homelessness and taking away and destroying their harm reduction supplies.
This represents a criminalization of poverty and of homelessness, and that's deeply concerning to us.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Police say officers are not taking harm reduction items away. However, if a needle has drugs in it already, that will be confiscated. A crash between a gravel truck and an ATV has left a 19-year-old dead in the RM of Broken Head. Police say the collision took place Thursday when an ATV heading east on Road 71 North was struck by a gravel truck heading north on Provincial Road 302. The 19-year-old male driver of the ATV was pronounced dead at the scene. The 60-year-old Steinbach man who was driving the truck was uninjured. Police are investigating the incident. As Russia keeps up its invasion of Ukraine and Ukraine escalates its counterattacks, that part of Europe is now sweltering under that traveling heat wave. Temperatures in Kyiv are expected to climb to 34 degrees Celsius today as the heat wave that's been baking Western and Central Europe spreads east into Ukraine. Many say summer trips abroad are still out of reach due to closed airports and the high cost of travel to neighboring countries. It's the end of an era for the Edmonton Symphony Orchestra. 82-year-old Brody has been playing violin with the symphony for 65 years. He started playing at 6, then went on to play in with the orchestra and running his dad's music school. Brody was the longest-serving active symphony player in the world. He played his last show this weekend. The last performance was the musical World of Harry Potter. And taking a look at Kenaston and Sterling Lion Way there. Looks a little rainy out there. If you have any traffic tips, send them to us at 10400. And taking a look at your gas prices here in Winnipeg, the average is $1.56. It was $1.60 on Friday, and the lowest price in the city is $1.42 at Udina on Taylor Avenue. All this information is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
And Ainsley McPhail's in the Interlake today at the Arborg Heritage Museum. We'll hear from her after the break.
Weather is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Same-day oil and tire changes.
Okay, we're starting off our morning quite humid outside. It's mostly cloudy, in fact, very cloudy right now. It's currently 20 degrees, and we have that humidity sitting at about 89%, winds gusting southeast between 30 to 40 kilometers per hour. Then the pressure is falling. So again, I want to reference that it's very humid outside, so you want to keep that in note, and that's for mostly across the province, according to Environment Canada. Actually, we have a UX index of about 8 or higher, so just want to keep that in mind. But across the province, we're going to be experiencing those double digits with that 30% chance of rain and showers. We experienced that thunderstorm at 2:30 a.m., which I keep referencing, that woke me up, but only lasted about 40 minutes, and we had that yellow weather warning for across the province that was lifted at about 5 a.m., but we still have that chance of rain or precipitation for most of the day. So you want to keep your raincoats, keep your umbrellas close by, because the weather could change at any instance, and keep hydrated because, yes, it's extremely humid. I'm heating up right now as I am speaking, so you want to keep that in mind. And we're going to head over to Ainsley McPhail right now to see what she's up to. Hey, Ainsley, what are you doing this morning?
I love waking up and coming to Arborg. I'm going to do an impression of somebody here in 1909. Oh my goodness, the rail is coming. We're on, well, where are we right now, Olivia?
In the foreman's car.
A very, very cool base. Somebody actually lived here when the rail was coming to the area. Tell us all about it.
Yes, so this is the foreman's car. It was a car that served both as a workspace and a residence for the foreman of the rail track. So the foreman was responsible for like managing and overseeing kind of the construction crew. And he was also responsible for keeping track of the crew working time, their activities, the job costs, and also creating various production reports.
And from what I understand, this is the first full summer you have it open to the public like this.
Yes, that's right. So we opened it and finished restoring it last July. So it's only been open for not even a year yet. So it's still really new, which is really exciting. And we're really lucky to actually have a foreman's car because there aren't very many that are left still intact in Canada. So it sat here for many years before we were able to find the trucks or the rail wheels from the Miami Railway Museum. And then we put them on and then finished it, and now it's open.
Well, talk about hidden gem. Speaking of, there's, I don't know what, I'm not going to say trapdoor, but there's like little cool pieces and bits to it. Tell us about the typewriter.
Yeah, so this is what would have been his desk. What's really neat about it is that the typewriter, it's attached to the desk. So what you can do is it can be flipped down so that he had a full desk space instead of having the typewriter in the way. So let me just show you. And then it would just flip under like that, and then he would have an entire desk to work on instead of having that big typewriter in the way.
Well, that is so cool. You know what? It's the little things in life. If you, this is my other impression. Look, it's a typewriter. All right. See you after the break.
A look at the early markets. The Dow Jones climbed 250 points. The Nasdaq is 370 points higher. The S&P index added 67 points. The Canadian dollar is flat, set to 70.45 cents US. Overseas, the Hang Seng is 354 points up, and the Nikkei gained 107 points. As Canada edges towards legislation meant to protect youth online, a new survey suggests most teens in the country have encountered real violence or gore on the internet.
What we actually found was that 85% of young people had seen this content. And further, when we asked them about what types of content they were seeing within that category, much of what they talked about was really on the more severe side of what we expected to hear about.
Of the 1,007 youth surveyed, more than 7 in 10 had seen videos of physical fights, 65% had viewed police violence, and 52% watched someone being injured or killed in war. 10% reported seeing child sexual abuse material, and 1/3 had viewed mass or school shooting videos. And the survey results show the vast majority of respondents saw the disturbing content unintentionally.
Only 7% of respondents said that they had sought out this content. So in most cases, they're seeing it because a stranger posted it or because the algorithm is showing it to them. So they're just scrolling through TikTok, scrolling through Instagram Reels, seeing, probably some funny videos, some interesting videos, and then all of a sudden there's a video of someone dying in a car accident.
The study's lead author says they've forwarded the results to major tech companies and the Canadian government, along with a list of recommendations. Exposure to graphic material was the most common on YouTube, followed closely by TikTok and then Instagram. The results come from an online survey by Leger. The online survey cannot be assigned a margin of error because it was not a random sample of the population. A controversial exhibit at the Canadian Museum for Human Rights opened to the public on Saturday. The exhibit is called Palestine Uprooted, Nakba Past and Present. The museum says it explores the human rights violations about Palestinians who continue to face displacement, but some critics, including a board member who resigned, say it is one-sided.
And we were asked, get out. Just one suitcase per family.
Nakba means catastrophe in Arabic. It's commonly used by Palestinians to describe mass displacement during the 1948 Palestine War. The exhibit features video testimonials from Palestinian Canadians, along with art and photos. Several Jewish groups, including the Center for Israel and Jewish Affairs, have raised concerns to the museum, saying the exhibit could fuel anti-Semitism, and they say there was a lack of meaningful consultation with the Jewish community. One museum board trustee, Mark Berlin, resigned over the exhibit, accusing the museum of, quote, ideology instead of accurate history. However, the museum CEO says they met with Jewish groups several times.
One, I think people want to see this work as a binary of one side versus two sides, and it isn't. It's human rights work. It's complicated. It's about actually how do we find our shared humanity in our through our storytelling. One of the critiques, much of the critique has come from people certainly who haven't been to the museum, and in many cases, or all cases, people who haven't seen the exhibit. And so we're inviting people to see the exhibit so that hopefully that will reassure them.
The exhibit will be at the museum until November 30th, 2028. The Palestinian community in Canada has been calling on the museum to present their stories since the museum opened back in 2014. Some road closures to remind you about this morning. The northbound median lane on Yonge Street will be closed from Portage to Ellis. On Wellington Crescent, the westbound curb lane will be closed between Academy Road and Harrow Street, and the northbound curb lane on Pennant Road will be closed from Mission Street to Reanders Drive. If you have any traffic tips to pass along, text them to us at 10400.
Now looking in, it's mostly cloudy outside with a high, we're right now at 20 degrees, very humid, so you want to keep that in mind. Winds are gusting southeast at 30 to 41 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity is sitting at 89%. So as I said, when I was outside there, it was quite humid. So you want to keep that in mind when you're traveling today with that 30% chance of rain or thunderstorms. I'm going to step out of the way here so we can look at the temperatures. We're going to have highs of 23 degrees for Thompson. Again, with that possibility of rain. And looking into Churchill, it's going to be a high of 12 degrees with mostly cloudy and sunny skies mixed in between. And looking into Lynn Lake, 25 degrees again. Cloudy with the sun peeking through, and most places I might experience that precipitation in the form of showers or rain, and might even experience a risk of a thunderstorm according to Environment Canada. Looking into Dauphin, the highest it's going to be 23 degrees again with that risk of a thunderstorm. Staying with Brandon at 22 degrees, and looking now into Winnipeg, 24 degrees is going to be our high today. Again, that 30% chance, so you want to keep that in mind to pack your raincoat, pack your umbrella, but also remember that it's very humid outside with the UV index of 8 or higher according to Environment Canada. So you want to keep hydrated today with Steinbach at 25 degrees. So mostly across the province, we're going to be in those 20s, those mid to high 20s. So you want to keep that in mind. And 26 for Red Lake, Kenora 26. So again, those mid to high 20s. And looking at our 7-day forecast, a high of 24 degrees for us. But looking into later on in the week, it's going to be a beautiful rest of the week to go out, take a walk, and make it feel more like summer.
Let's check in now on Gabby at Bounce 99.9. Good morning, Gabby. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing well, Danny. I'm all by myself today. Bo is off for a few, so it's the Wild West over here. Really, anything could happen. I've been unleashed. I was happy to see in that forecast that Wednesday is looking like there could be some sunshine, because everybody wants sunshine to get out and enjoy Canada Day. I have a lot of memories for enjoying it as a kid with my family in North Battleford. I'll get to that in a minute, but how about you? Do you have any Canada Days that really stick in your memory?
I remember one. So my mom's originally from Connecticut, and we'd go down there during the summer, and I remember celebrating Canada Day on a beach in Maryland, and all the Americans looking at us like, you're a few days early, it's not the July 4th, and you don't even have the right flag. It was a little interesting, but we had to celebrate Canada Day, of course. What about you?
Oh, that's too funny, and hopefully you brought all the good snacks from the States home, of course, to Canada. Yeah, as a kid, we used to always go to this fort in Battleford. Sorry, I have like a little bug flying around here. This fort in Battleford, and there would be a musical ride. Mounties would do a musical ride. I remember getting a lot of candy, a lot of stickers, wearing a Canadian flag as a cape, and just having the best time. So I'm looking forward to creating some of those memories with our own kid. I don't know about a musical ride here in Winnipeg, but the internet hopefully will provide provide me with some answers. And real quick here, Danny, it's also New Friend Day. Is there a new friend you made that kind of sticks out?
I'm going to go with you when we met at a Bomber game when you were hosting and we like Forrest Gump waved each other. Yeah, there's always time to make new friends, and now we get to hang out all the time. So, yeah.
It's the best. I love that. I'm so glad you said that because I was actually thinking that. I was like, when I made you as my new friend at the Bomber game.
Anyway, I mean, it's like stepbrothers. Did we just become best friends? We did, folks. We really did. Well, thanks so much, Gabby, and happy Canada Day. We'll talk to you soon. A BC couple in their 80s has committed to never stop moving their love story forward. But how are they doing this after 66 years? Well, CTV's Adam Sawatsky has their story.
Yeah.
Donna and George Muskel still act like the teenagers they were when they first met.
We love each other.
She was 16 and he was 17.
I made a real good choice when I was 17, I'll tell you.
Before making an even better choice to get married and make a commitment they've kept for 66 years.
We always said we would never go to sleep on an argument, and we never did. Sometimes we were up just about all night long. But we would not go to sleep without saying we love you.
But now in their 80s, Donna and George recently faced a challenge they weren't sure how to resolve.
Yeah, it was a real nightmare, to be honest with you.
They experienced a series of health challenges that forced them to sell their home and wonder how they could possibly move forward together.
Felt terrible. I wanted to do it, but I can't.
But then Donna and George discovered the most unexpected thing they can do.
I can't walk, but I can pedal.
Now the couple travel together on a tandem trike twice a day.
We go everywhere we want to. Woo!
Pedaling for hours, greeting everyone they pass, and making this a joyride.
Just look at the bright side of things.
Although they always find the brightest of the bright is right beside them.
I'm with my hubby. Oh, I love triking with him.
And that love can feel like rocket fuel.
I have to tell her, slow down, dear, slow down.
Because the older you get, the faster time flies.
Life is just so fleeting. Enjoy it. Enjoy the moment.
And after embarking on the ride of a lifetime, these high school sweethearts are committed to never stop moving their love story forward. Adam Sawatsky, CTV News.
It's Monday, June 29th. Today, bringing them home. Why Indigenous leaders are looking to repatriate artifacts in Switzerland. Plus, talent on display, how a special event showcased Winnipeg's top performers. And a historic win. What's next for Team Canada after its latest World Cup victory? Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning and happy Monday. I'm Daniel Halmerson, filling in for Rochelle Legacy today with Tandy Vera on weather, and just a couple days away from Canada Day. We're going to get you set for that, but plenty of other things. That World Cup win yesterday, of course. Woohoo. Finally start breathing normally from that one. Yeah. Now, Ainsley is up in Arborg today, learning a little bit about the heritage and history of that area. And coming up at 7:52, we're going to learn about Bannock for Binders. So it's an initiative helping queer people living in northern Manitoba access some much needed resources that are lacking in those areas. And coming up later in the 8 o'clock hour, we have a visit from a dog. So stick around for that one, folks. Highlight of the day for me. As for you, we saw another round of some pretty extreme weather in parts of southern Manitoba last night.
Yep, it was a very busy night. Environment Canada has actually confirmed a tornado in Rossburn, as well as potentially one near the Roblin area. They're going to confirm that later on today. But right now, we're sitting at 20 degrees. It's mostly cloudy outside. The wind is gusting southeast at 30 to 41 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling, and the humidity is sitting at 89%. Now, as I said, we did get that yellow severe warning from Environment Canada from about 2:30 a.m. So it was quite an intense night of thunderstorms with a tornado confirmed in Rossburn and potentially near the Robin area. And looking now into our satellite images, you can see there's lots of activity for Winnipeg for most of the morning that we experienced, as well as in Brandon and the Dauphin area. So again, we do have that 30% chance of rain and showers and thunderstorm for the rest of the day, and even leading into tomorrow overnight. So you want to keep that in mind for the rest of the day. And my clicker does not want to work, so just hold on for 2 seconds as I switch it out. Sorry about that, folks. A little bit of technical difficulties. But again, looking into our satellite image right now, we do have that chance of rain over across Winnipeg and honestly just across the province. So you want to keep that in mind, though it's very humid outside. In fact, according to Environment Canada, we received about 20 to 30 centimeters of rain in general across western Manitoba. And looking into that, it's eventually going to again taper into, as I was mentioning, for Tuesday, we're going to have that chance of rain and precipitation. And looking as well, it's going to taper it off by Wednesday. So by Wednesday, it's going to be clearing out, which is perfect for Canada Day, looking at your 7-day forecast. So we're going to have mostly sunny and mix of cloudy skies for the rest of the week from Wednesday on. So that's great to keep in mind. So we're going to have a great Canada Day to go out and just enjoy the rest of the week. But again, today, a high of 24 with that chance of rain and or a thunderstorm. There's that risk according to Environment Canada. Now looking at the weather art of the day, how beautiful. Allison, thank you so much. I love that rainbow. It's so gorgeous. To submit your child's weather art of the day, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form. Your art can be shown on Your Morning Winnipeg, and it will also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift card from Crocodile on Kenniston.
The weather art of the day is brought to you by Crocodile. Spend quality time with loved ones and paint memories together.
Indigenous advocates are calling for immediate help to repatriate a significant collection of Indigenous artifacts from a private collection in Switzerland. Some worry if the artifacts aren't returned quickly, they could be split up and sold through private auctions. CTV's Alex Carpa reports.
First Nations leaders are trying to get their hands on these Indigenous artifacts, which are currently in Switzerland.
Right now, time is of the essence.
The items were in a privately owned museum near Zurich and contain what leaders say are sacred and culturally significant belongings. But with the museum now closed, Indigenous leaders fear sacred pipes and other ceremonial items could be sold off to private collectors. The Bringing Them Home project is now seeking help to raise upwards of $20 million to purchase the items.
There's a real urgency about this, that we are able to raise this money and return these items back to our people.
The artifacts, which include ceremonial items, beaded regalia, and historical weapons, originated from Indigenous nations across Canada, including Manitoba. Carl Stone was part of a delegation that traveled to see the collection firsthand last year and says these items hold a lot of meaning.
They're not things, just things you display like trophies. They are sacred and they are holy.
Gerald Neufeld says the effort to bring the artifacts home is about more than preserving history.
This is a very important part of the whole healing process for our Indigenous people who live in this land.
If the repatriation effort succeeds, Rajat says organizers would consider establishing a museum in Winnipeg to house the collection. But for now, the focus remains on securing the artifacts before they disappear into private hands.
They could end up in Dubai or in New York. That would be utterly wrong.
The collection has been placed into storage while discussions about its future continues. Alex Carpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Once considered a bargain, more and more Manitobans now view our housing prices as unreasonably high. New data from the Angus Reid Institute finds 7 in 10 Canadians say the price to buy a home in their neighborhood is high, a stark contrast to a decade ago. In Manitoba, 67% of respondents say prices are understandably or unreasonably high, a jump of 21% from 2016. Winnipeg saw a 23% increase. Over the past decade, the average house price in Winnipeg grew by 57% from $273,000 to $427,000. The online survey of 4,200 Canadians was conducted between June 4th and 10th and has a margin of error plus or minus 2 percentage points 19 times out of 20. A crash between a gravel truck and an ATV has left a 19-year-old dead in the RM of Broken Head. Police say the collision took place Thursday when an ATV heading east on Road 71 North was struck by a gravel truck heading north on Provincial Road 302. The 19-year-old male driver of the ATV was pronounced dead at the scene. The 60-year-old Steinbach man who was driving the truck was uninjured. Police are investigating the incident. Downtown Winnipeg had the honor of hosting some talented artists over the weekend. Downtown Live took over the Burton Cummings Theatre on Saturday. 20 performers hit the stage performing everything from Bollywood fusion dance to beatboxing. The winner of the competition will perform at the upcoming Burt Block Party. The CEO of Downtown Winnipeg Biz says the event showed off the diverse culture of downtown Winnipeg.
We had a family band doing Jamaican music. We had an Indigenous hoop dancer that went into beatboxing. We have a young saxophone player. We have all ages. We have all genres. We had a magician that performed a Houdini-style event on stage. So really, we're seeing ages, cultures. It just really is representative of actually who is in downtown and what Winnipeg is made up of. And it's incredible talent and just these beautiful cultures.
Kate Fensky adds the Biz is trying to provide more unique and fun experiences for people living in and visiting downtown. And if you saw her there, you're right. That was our own Ainsley McPhail emceeing the event. Soccer fans across the country are reveling following Canada's nail-biting 1-0 win over South Africa on Sunday, and that excitement is spilled over here in Winnipeg. This was the scene at the King's Head pub in the Exchange District Sunday afternoon. Fans erupted when midfielder Stefan Eustáquio broke the deadlock in stoppage time, punching Canada's ticket to the round of 16.
Oh, it was fantastic. You know, the boys played a full 90 minutes and, you know, they put their whole blood, sweat, and tears into it. It was fantastic.
Oh, my life is charmed. We've been at this a long time. We have some good days, we have some bad days, but today was a good day.
Canada will play either the Netherlands or Morocco in the next stage. Those two teams play tonight. Canada will face the winner on Saturday in Houston. Taking a look at the current traffic situation on McPhillips there, and one note to pass along: the northbound median lane and southbound turn lane on McPhillips and Redwood are closed to repair a down traffic standard. Keep right to pass. If you have any tips to pass along, text them to us at 10400.
Comcast, just months after shedding most of its cable TV business, is cleaving itself into two companies, one housing its namesake cable and tech operations, the other comprising NBC Universal Media Biz. Under the proposed separation announced on Monday, Comcast intends to make a tax-free spin-off of NBC Universal and Sky. After the transaction is completed, Comcast shareholders will own shares in both Comcast and NBC Universal. Developments of Canada's first offshore wind farms took a significant step forward late Friday when Nova Scotia's offshore energy regulator released the names of companies qualified to bid on seabed licenses. The companies, which can choose to remain unnamed, are from Canada, Belgium, China, Ireland, Luxembourg, Singapore, Switzerland, and South Korea, along with France. It may be 2035 before any farms are operational. Former Walt Disney Chief Executive Officer Bob Iger and Thrive Capital founder Joshua Kushner are discussing making a bid for the National Basketball Association's expansion team in Vegas. According to people familiar with their plans, the bid would be for a majority investment in the team. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
And we're joined now by CTV's Ainsley McPhail with her new series, Ainsley in the Interlake. You're up in Arborg today. What are you up to?
Well, I got some really pressing information before we get to all the info on the Arborg Heritage Site. The Arborg Bakery and ice cream now. Who says that can't be breakfast? Very, very pressing, very important for information off the top. Okay, we're at the Heritage Site. We just had a look at the Foreman's building, but there's going to be something brand new, a train. 24 different buildings and displays here at the Arborg Heritage Site, and events throughout the year, everything from a market to local performances, a monthly Seniors Day, a really beautiful way to explore local history. Coming up, we're going to be learning about how flour would have been made over 100 years ago. And I tell you, it was really foreshadowing that Arborg Bakery and ice cream shop. Back to you.
I like the sounds of a bakery and ice cream shop, especially around 7 in the morning. It sounds like a perfect treat for me, Ainsley. Thanks so much. And looking up on the roof, Tandy, we saw some rain very early this morning. We both got woken up by a severe thunderstorm around 2:30. How are things out there now?
Well, right now it's mostly cloudy and quite humid. So talking about that ice cream that Ainsley was talking about, I could use some right now at this time of the day. So again, very humid. We're currently at 19 degrees. The wind's gusting northwest, at 8 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 87%. Now, as I said, it's very humid outside, and we did receive that thunderstorm and that rain throughout overnight. In fact, according to Environment Canada, we received anywhere between 20 to 30 millimeters of rain, with the highest being in Santa Clara with 80.9 millimeters, so quite a lot of rain there. And in Lake Audie, it was about 45.8 millimeters of rain, and Dauphin with 32.3 millimeters of rain, and Swan River at 33.5. So again, some areas received quite a lot of rain overnight. Not as much here in Winnipeg. In fact, my little rain gauge here didn't have that much rain in it. In fact, it was about 0.5 inches. But I do want to say there was a confirmed tornado in Rossburn area, and there might be a possible confirmation near Roblin. Environment Canada says they will have more later on as they're assessing the damage. But again, right now 19 degrees, very humid, and that's basically what's going to be like for most of the day today. So you want to keep that in mind and grab an umbrella just in case.
Weather is brought to you by the Better Business Bureau. Research at bbb.org before you buy.
It's time now for our question of the day. We want to know, what's your best memory of Canada Day? You can text your answer to 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response. And don't forget to include your name.
Question of the day, brought to you by Provivo, Manitoba's #1 cool sculpting clinic. Science-backed body contouring.
At Your Morning Winnipeg, we're all about celebrating your amazing pets, furry, feathered, or scaly. Your Pet of the Week submissions have been amazing, and we want to see even more, whether it's dogs, cats, birds, or any other pet pals. Send them our way. Drop your pet photos and a fun little story about them to petoftheweek@ctv.ca, and catch us every Thursday to find out if your pet is our Pet of the Week on Your Morning Winnipeg. And taking a look at Confusion Corner, traffic moving there. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more CTV, Your Morning Winnipeg. Wildfires have forced 3 northern communities to evacuate for the second year in a row.
This is something we didn't want to do. Stay safe out there. We'll do everything we can to make sure you have homes to come back to.
On Saturday, the town of Lynn Lake issued a mandatory evacuation order due to a wildfire posing an imminent threat. The community, about 800 kilometers from Winnipeg, has about 600 residents who evacuated by road and air. Meanwhile, 2 northern First Nations are evacuating their residents due to wildfire impact. In a statement on Sunday, MKO said residents of Marcel Colombe First Nation and OPCN are evacuating. Marcel Colombe First Nation, located about 800 kilometers northwest of Winnipeg, has activated its evacuation plan. In OPCN's case, the community is under a state of emergency and evacuating priority residents. Those in need of medical assistance due to wildfire activity that has cut off access to Highway 493, the only road into OPCN. CTV News has reached out to the Canadian Red Cross and Indigenous Services Canada for additional information. Well, Saturday marked 1 year since Portage and Main officially reopened to pedestrian traffic, and despite concerns from some that the busy intersection would become a hazard for people walking and biking, that doesn't seem to have been the case. According to Manitoba Public Insurance, there have been no collisions involving cyclists or pedestrians at the famous intersection since it reopened. In fact, there has only been 1 crash each involving a pedestrian and a cyclist in the past 5 years. Those happened in 2024 and 2023, respectively. There have been several dozen vehicle collisions, though, 96 so far this year and 152 in all of 2025. And a new space to get a break from the sun opened in South Winnipeg on Saturday.
2, 1.
Ginna Park's new shade structure has 4 picnic tables, one of them with accessible seating. 2 benches were also added along the park's pathway. The South Point Residents Association has been pushing for upgrades to the outdoor space. The project was funded by the city's Communities Fund and Parks and Recreation Enhancement Program. Well, taking a look at the current traffic situation on Portage Avenue near Polo Park, moving nicely there. If you have any traffic tips to pass along, text them to us at 10400. And a Winnipeg park has officially been renamed and revamped. The area formerly known as Odeon Park is now Kevin Walters Plaza. It combines the area adjacent to the Burton Cummings Theatre with the former park. The plaza is named after Kevin Walters, who was a well-known champion of live music and entertainment in Winnipeg. He played a role in bringing a number of festivals and awards shows to the city, including the 2006 Grey Cup Festival, the Canadian Country Music Awards, and the Juno Awards. And it's a fitting tribute as it will serve as a public gathering space for future concerts and cultural events.
Kevin Walters Plaza is another piece of downtown's future. The space will welcome people before concerts, festivals, and events like the Burt Block Party. And it will help showcase everything that makes Winnipeg such a vibrant, creative city that Kevin helped to build.
The $1.25 million project also features a public art installation by artist Frederick Spence. Well, it was another winning weekend at the box office for the latest Toy Story movie.
Bonnie needs help from someone at least from the same century. So long, toy.
The 5th entry in the Disney Pixar franchise made another $70 million US across North America, closing in on $300 million since its debut. Supergirl opened in 2nd place as expected, but ticket sales were well below earlier projections at $38 million. And Obsession continues to have a hold on moviegoers, scoring 3rd place with $9.8 million. Comedy icon Mel Brooks celebrated his 100th birthday on Sunday.
We've got to protect our phony baloney job, gentlemen. We must do something about this immediately.
Brooks was born in Brooklyn in 1926 and has had a lengthy career creating beloved films like Blazing Saddles, The Producers, and Young Frankenstein. He's got another title on the way with a Spaceballs sequel due next year. Brooks previously told People he credits his long life to his sense of humor. And here's your Monday primetime lineup. Kick things off with Children Ruin Everything at 7, and American Ninja Warrior comes next at 8. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
Now looking through our live eye right now, so it's mostly cloudy as you can see, currently at 19 degrees. The Batfitter Live Eye is brought to you by Batfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. So again, as I said, mostly cloudy right now, which is what we're expecting for most of the day across the province really, with that 30% chance of thunderstorm or rain in any form. So looking now, we're currently, as I said, 19 degrees, 18 degrees in Portage and 17 degrees in Brandon. So we're actually going down a bit by 1 degree. We're at 20 degrees earlier, but now we're kind of reducing in temperatures. But it is very humid outside, so you want to keep that in mind. And going up into the north, as you can see, mostly in those double digits, except in Churchill. But that's kind of the temperatures we're going to be experiencing today. Mostly double digits and warm, but again, humid with that chance of rain. And looking right now into our satellite image, as we mentioned, throughout the morning, we did receive that thunderstorm at about 2:30 a.m. It started when I woke up. And you can see that activity just over here for most of Winnipeg as well as across the province. So you want to keep that in mind. We do have that 30% chance according to Environment Canada. And now looking by the time kids head to school, it's going to be 20 degrees. But again, that chance of rain is still there. So they want to grab an umbrella or maybe a raincoat. And by the time they head back, it'll be 24 degrees, which is going to be our high for today. Looking at our 7-day forecast right now, as you can see, it's going to be our high again tomorrow. So you want to keep that in mind for the next 2 days. But getting into Canada today, it's going to be warmer and it's going to be nicer weather out. So it's going to be a great day to go out for the rest of the week with mostly sunny skies with some clouds coming through. And look at this beautiful Skywatch pick of the day from Victoria Beach. Maddie, thank you so much. Such a beautiful sunset. Keep the pictures coming, please, at winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
June 29, 1937. Quebec businessman Joseph Armand Bombardier patented the snowmobile. The first 7-person machine cost $7,500. Only 50 were sold the first year. These vehicles evolved into the famous B7 and B12 snow buses that were used throughout rural Canada. June 29, 2009. Disgraced U.S. financier Bernard Madoff, 71, was sentenced in New York to the maximum of 150 years behind bars for fleecing hundreds of investors out of tens of billions of dollars in a massive Ponzi scheme. Several billions of dollars have since been recovered and sent back to victims. June 29, 2022. Actress Sandra Oh and track champion Donovan Bailey were among 85 new appointees to the Order of Canada. Bailey was named an officer for his track and field excellence and commitment to youth and amateur athletes. Oh was also named an officer of the Order. She gained international fame through her starring roles on Grey's Anatomy and Killing Eve.
One of the most sought-after events in all of Newfoundland and Labrador is in a painting and pottery studio where goats are the stars. CTV's Garrett Berry reports.
They're rambunctious, demanding, in short, terrible painting partners. But at the Clay Cafe in Mount Pearl, this crowd can't get enough.
They're cute because there's baby goats, and baby goats are the best. I definitely like Cardi B and Figgy.
Why do you like Cardi B?
Because she's a troublemaker like me. Figgy, Timbit, and the one that looks like a lamb.
That's why this twice-monthly event has been sold out since 2019.
What makes this all work, of course, is just how approachable these animals are. They'll climb up on your table or take food right out of your hand. Or Figgy here will, as you can see, cuddle real close if you hold him in your arms.
Still, it's more painting near goats than painting with goats. The only markings these guys made on the floor. But they're so cute, they might even bring you to tears.
They keep jumping up on the tables and trying to clear it off, and they're like, oh, I'm here.
Cleanup aside, for staff, it's a highlight of the job.
It's our favorite day to work because we get to come in and cuddle the goats, and it's like an extra adventure of them running around, and we just call ourselves part-time goat wranglers.
Each of these animals a little bit different.
Goats, I just think, are extra special because, as you can see, they're silly, but they're, sweet and loving, and it's a super cool mixture for sure.
So farmer Julie Hollett says bringing her animals to the public and seeing children and adults alike fall in love is a joy. Garrett Berry, CTV News, Mount Pearl, Newfoundland and Labrador.
There's no goats up in Arborg this morning, but CTV's Ainsley McPhail is there. We'll hear from her after the break. CTV's Ainsley McPhail is live this morning up in the Interlake in Arborg. How you doing up there, Ainsley?
Oh, it's great. I'm so excited to check out the bakery and ice cream shop later. When we grab a loaf of bread, sometimes we don't think about people from over 100 years ago who were doing the same thing, but in a little bit of a different way. Ava's joining us now, a summer student here at the Arborg Heritage Site. Thank you so much for being on our show today. Tell us all about this really cool contraption.
So this is the John Hykeway grist mill. It was built in 1917 by John Hykeway. This is a cat mill, so the entire top actually rotates. They would do that by picking up the pole on the side here. There's one on the other side as well. And a team of men would pick up the poles and walk, and that would turn the top of the mill. Then they could lock it in place and use it whatever day they needed, no matter what way the wind blew. John actually built this with no blueprints. He was a blacksmith, and he took pictures or he seen pictures of other mills, and he kind of just went off of what he thought it should look like.
So having a look inside, there's some intricacies to it as well. Please explain.
Okay, so how it would have worked is if you look up, you'll see the wooden gears. When the vanes would be blowing, it would turn those wooden gears and it would move the post in the middle. It would spin, and then there's a belt underneath that would have rotated when the pole was spinning. And then there's two granite rocks right there. The grain would have gone into the top there, and it would have came out in between the rocks, and the bottom one, because of the belt, would have spun, and the top one would have stayed in place. And if you look at the rock on the side there, you can see There's grooves on it for the flour after it's been ground to fall out the sides, and it would come out the chute. This mill would have been used for any type of grain that they would have had. People, when the vanes would be turning, they were very loud, and people from 15 miles away would have heard it. They would have come, got their grain milled, and some common types would have been wheat and rye and just pretty much anything they would have had.
Thank you so much. How fascinating. And how lucky are we to be in Arborg today?
Looks beautiful out there in Arborg, and it's kind of beautiful in Winnipeg right now after some early morning storms. Tandy, how are things shaping up for the rest of the day?
Well, for the rest of the day, it is mostly cloudy with a bit of sun peeking through. In fact, we can see the sunshine right now through our live eye. How glorious. We're currently at 19 degrees, winds gusting northwest at 8 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 87%. So yes, we had a lot of activity overnight that you can see right now through our satellite image. The bulk of it in Winnipeg as well as in Brandon and the Dauphin area. And if you want to know, it actually started Sunday morning in the west that tapered into Manitoba eventually, and that's why we had that thunderstorm at about 2:30 a.m. We still have that 30% chance of it again today as well as for tomorrow, so you want to keep that in mind. And currently our high for today is going to be 24 degrees. So yes, 24 degrees, winds gusting northeast between 20 to 40 kilometers per hour with that 30% chance of rain or thunderstorm. So grab that coat, grab that umbrella, because you're going to need it. And it might also be humid outside. Quite frankly, it's quite humid outside right now as it is. And looking into the evening time, it's going to be 16 degrees with winds gusting south at 15 kilometers per hour with that chance of light precipitation in the form of showers or thunderstorms, as well as tomorrow, the same high of 24 degrees. So you want to keep that in mind for today and tomorrow. But there's good news ahead looking at our 5-day forecast. By the time we get to Wednesday, when it's Canada Day, oh, happy Canada Day, it's going to be mostly sunny skies with a few clouds, and that's going to be the rest of the week with those double digits between 26 to 27 degrees. So it's going to be a nice day to go out and enjoy with the family.
Investigators are still looking into an incident Thursday in which a plane made an emergency landing on a Manitoba highway. Just after 7 p.m. Thursday, police were alerted to a small aircraft in distress. The single-engine plane was carrying 4 people and was attempting to land on the road. The plane had departed from the PA and was en route to Brandon. The pilot made the landing on Highway 45 near Sandy Lake. Police say the plane came to a stop in a ditch on the north side of the road. One person was taken to hospital with minor injuries. RCMP have not yet said what caused the emergency. Massage therapy has officially been designated as a regulated health profession here in Manitoba. The province made the declaration June 16th. It also establishes the College of Massage Therapists of Manitoba for regulating the profession. The Massage Therapy Association of Manitoba praised the move in an online statement, calling it the realization of a goal that has been pursued for decades. The association says further details around registration requirements and timelines are expected in the coming months. Crews are working around the clock in Venezuela in hopes of finding survivors from last week's back-to-back earthquakes. At least 1,450 people have died from the quakes, and that number is expected to rise. Rescue teams have arrived from around the world. They're focusing on the hardest hit province north of Caracas. Crews are facing a shortage of heavy machinery needed to lift the rubble. Experts say the first 72 hours are critical for finding survivors. It's now been more than 4 days since the quakes hit on Wednesday, but there are still moments of hope. This was the moment rescue crews pulled a 9-month-old baby out of the rubble along with his mother. Both survived with minor injuries. Crews say at this point, anyone pulled alive from the rubble would be considered a miracle rescue. And we're learning more about the Trump administration's plans following a major immigration ruling over the weekend from the U.S. Supreme Court. The top court ruled that the administration is permitted to end legal protections for about 350,000 Haitians. They're in the U.S. under what's called temporary protected status. It was offered and then extended by previous administrations after a major earthquake and following unrest in Haiti. U.S. Homeland Security Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen says the permission to stay was always intended to be temporary, but those affected can apply for other permanent statuses.
Keep in mind, a lot of these individuals haven't been here 18 months. They've been here 18 years. Some of them been here 20 years, 30 years. They've had plenty of time to reestablish their status inside the United States. They just chose not to. Then there's some that has been here underneath the Biden administration that took advantage of an open border, and those individuals didn't really come over here because they needed protective status. They came over here because they were taking advantage of a weak leadership. So what we want, and the president has made this very clear, those that are coming to this country legally, they need to be able to contribute to the United States, not be a burden on the taxpayers.
Asylum seeker advocates have said they're aware of some people traveling north amid concerns they won't be able to stay in the U.S. Canada has tightened rules that have made it harder for certain asylum seekers to make a claim, especially those crossing from the States, although there are some exceptions. Despite criticism from advocates, federal officials say the U.S. qualifies as a safe country for asylum seekers. The slopes of Switzerland's Great St. Bernard Pass continues to live up to its name.
We get to see them born, and we get to see them grow up and then become mothers, and we get to accompany them through all of those different challenges in life.
St. Bernards have lived on the pass since the mid-17th century. They remain here as part of a living museum where 21 keepers care for 32 dogs. The museum is kept as a breeding program where tourists can come to explore the mountainside and see the large mountain dogs. Some road closures to remind you about this morning. The northbound median lane on Yonge Street will be closed from Portage to Ellis Avenue. On Wellington Crescent, the westbound curb lane will be closed between Academy Road and Harrow Street, and the northbound curb lane on Panet Road will be closed from Mission Street to Reenders Drive. If you have any traffic tips to pass along, text them to us at 10400. And taking a look at your gas prices, in Winnipeg, the average is $1.56. It was $1.60 on Friday, and the lowest price in the city is at $1.42 at Udina on Taylor Avenue. All this information is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
Looking in right now, it's 19 degrees and mostly cloudy outside with that sun peeking through. The winds gusting northwest at 8 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 87%. So yes, 19 degrees right now, but very humid outside. So you want to keep that in mind. We do have that 30% chance of rain or thunderstorms, and that's mostly across the province. Right now for Churchill, the high it's going to have is 12 degrees, mostly cloudy with sunny skies. But as you can see, for mostly Island Lake, it's going to be 24 degrees. Again, that possibility of rain or light precipitation in the form of showers, and that's across the province. We're going to be dealing with these mid 20 degree ranges. Sorry about that little mix up. I'm going to step out of the way here so we can look at these temperatures. Lynn Lake, 25 degrees, again with that risk of a thunderstorm. Flin Flon, the same thing, except with just maybe rain or showers. 22 in the past, and 23 in Norway House will be the high today. So again, those mid to high 20s is what we're going to be experiencing for most of the province, with Swan River at 24, Dauphin 23, and Brandon also 22 degrees with that 30% chance of thunderstorm or rain according to Environment Canada. And that's the same for Winnipeg, Portage, Gimli, basically mostly across the province, especially in Winnipeg. So you want to keep that in mind and maybe grab a raincoat, grab an umbrella just in case, but also remember it's pretty humid outside, so stay hydrated no matter what. But looking into our before we go even there, looking into Kenora, it's going to be 26 degrees as well, experiencing again that 30% chance of a thunderstorm or rain with light precipitation. So again, those mid to high 20s is what we're going to be experiencing for our temperatures. So pretty nice for this time of year. Normal is usually about 24 degrees. So we're going to be at that normal range, but again, very humid outside. And looking at our 7-day forecast, I know you see it. The next 2 days, we do have that chance of rain, of thunderstorm, but looking into the rest of the week, it's mostly going to be sunny with a few clouds in the sky. But again, those high mid to 20 degree temperatures. So it's going to be a great week to go out, celebrate, and enjoy time with the family.
Thanks, Tandy. RCTV's Ainsley McPhail is up in Arborg today. The Interlake welcome you with open arms and hopefully some baked goods from the bakery. What are you up to now?
I'm so glad you said that, because there's this lady that comes every single year and comes out the car about this time and says, I brought baked goods, so we don't have to go later. It's Perfect. Secondly, if you ever thought to yourself, well, what were the Ukrainian pioneers doing in this area? What would an old playroom look like? You are in the right place. Leaf is here and is a summer student. He's going to share everything about it. Tell us about the room.
So this is styled after like a traditional Ukrainian home. It has a bit more toys than a kid normally would have. Like, they'd have 1 or 2 in the room, but we have a lot more because of donations. And usually toys would showcase like different skills the kid would have in the in society. Like, girls would usually play with the kitchenware or have like a tea set to like simulate social gatherings, or like the boys would have cars or like wagons for like farm work, or just like, yeah.
I'd love to show one of these moms an iPad just to see what the reaction would be like. It was certainly a simpler time. When it comes to a lot of these goods, many of them were donated. It's so important to preserve that history. What was it like for you guys to put it together?
We didn't really put it together. Oh, at least I wasn't here, but I'm sure it was an adventure to try and find different places for the different things. Because there's, like, we had to hang clothes on the side of the wall to showcase what the kids would be wearing, or we'd have to find places for the dolls, or, like, the kitchenware, find tables, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. We've talked about the dolls. Okay, this is a personal question then.
Okay.
Creepy or just fine?
Very creepy.
I'm sure we're not the only ones. The one sitting down there, I said at night, I think her head might be turning around and around and around, but that's just me. Okay, we'll see you guys again later in the show.
Thanks, Ainsley. World Cup fever is pretty sweet at this shop in LA.
So excited for the World Cup in soccer, and there's so much energy right now surrounding it. So we thought, why not create a themed donut that's colorful and bright and something.
Randy's Donuts in Inglewood is making big, beautiful World Cup themed donuts. Inglewood is close to the Los Angeles Stadium, so they've become a big part or a big destination for fans, along with the actual World Cup. Canada's World Cup dream is alive and well after Sunday's historic win in the knockout round against South Africa.
It's Eustachio! Stefan Eustachio in stoppage time might well have sent Canada into the round of 16.
That was the moment that sealed the deal for Canada as Stefan Eustachio drills the ball into the back of the net in added time, securing that 1-0 win after a long scoreless 90-minute game.
They'll launch it long into the box. Crepeau comes and claims, and that's
South Africa's last-minute push to even the score falling flat thanks to the skills of goalkeeper Maxime Crepeau. Team Canada now bound for the round of 16, the best result Canada's men's team has ever achieved.
We worked a lot to get this victory. We really wanted to give this win to all the Canadians. And we just kept believing, we kept pushing. And I think we couldn't have imagined it any other way.
The hard work from these guys, the character of them, they're Canadian heroes. That's what I told them at the end. They're now Canadian heroes. I'm so happy for them.
Canada will play either the Netherlands or Morocco on Saturday, July 4th in Houston. That game is set for noon Central Time. And have you ever been at the ballpark and had some hot dog jealousy? Well, this was during last week's series between the Rangers and Marlins during a Bark at the Park event. One dog was enjoying its own hot dog while another gloomily looked on, desperate for its own. And a married couple from North Dakota is hoping to slide their way into a world record. They renewed their vows for the 6th time this month on top of a water slide in Wisconsin. The couple is hoping to set 2 world records, the record for most vow renewals in a 30-day period and the record for most times going down a water slide in a wedding dress, which they set at 9 times. Let's see who's celebrating a milestone today. Got ahead of myself there. Happy birthday, Amanda, with love from your grandbabies, children, and family. Happy 50th birthday, Victor. Here's hoping that the next 50 years is just as fun. With love from Tanya, Luca, and the family. Happy 9th birthday, Sophia. Love Mom, Dad, Gloria, and Tony. And a merry 28th birthday to Nene. Lots of love from Mommy, Daddy, and Corey. To submit your milestone, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form at least 2 days in advance.
Weather is brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful. Our new Hunter Douglas showroom is at 900 Lorimer.
Looking at our almanac, our high today is going to be 24 degrees. The average is 25 degrees. Last year it was 27.5 degrees, so we're a few degrees shy of that, but we're closer to the low compared to last year of 16 degrees, with that record of a low 2020 at 11.9 degrees and 25.2 in 87. So right now it is pretty humid outside. It is mostly cloudy right now, but I do see the sun peeking through finally. We're currently at 19 degrees with winds gusting northwest at 8 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 87%. Now across the province, we're going to be dealing with this humidity according to Environment Canada. In fact, they've said we have a UV index of 8 or higher, which is pretty high. So they recommend staying hydrated as well as not spending too much time outside. But again, across the province, we're going to experience a 30% chance of thunderstorms or rain or light precipitation in the form of showers for mostly across the province, with those double digits between 20 to 30 degrees. In fact, also according to Environment Canada, for the thunderstorm we had last night, western Manitoba and much of southwestern Manitoba received about 20 to 30 millimeters of rain. So that's a good thing to keep in mind, because we might experience that rain today and even tomorrow across the province. So grab that umbrella, grab that raincoat, again, because you don't want to be rained on. Sorry, getting muffled there.
A pop-up community project is aiming to raise money for pride organizations in northern Manitoba. The endeavor is called Bannock for Binders, and it's being spearheaded by a 25-year-old Two-Spirit individual and many other 2S LGBTQIA+ youth from Opaskwayak Cree Nation. Joining us now is Sunday Queskap-Kapow. We had it. I did okay. Good morning, Sunday. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Now, growing up in the north, did you feel supported as a Two-Spirit individual?
I think from generally our community, yes. It's just more of like a systemic issue where we don't have a lot of those resources that a lot of folks here in the south have.
So tell us about Bannock for Binders and how it'll work.
Yeah, so pretty much me and a couple of my other friends in the community are getting together to make bannock, and then we're going to be selling it at the South Osborne Farmers Market this summer and fall.
How did you kind of come up with this idea?
It's pretty funny. Not so funny part, but I struggled with getting a chest binder when I was young. I knew I was trans from a pretty young age. And so from my experience and seeing the lack of resources in our community, I really wanted to make a difference still while I'm down south for school. And so I was like, oh, this would just be a great, fun way to, raise money for folks.
How much does a chest binder cost?
Most places are in the U.S. to buy them, so I think around $60 to $70, and that can be pretty tough for someone who is a younger person maybe, or, just not very accessible.
Bannock, obviously a big part of Indigenous culture. It's delicious, of course. Have you always made bannock, or is this something you kind of learned for this endeavor?
I've always made bannock growing up. The funny part is I'm actually gluten-free now. For the past 5 years, I've been gluten-free. But growing up, I have been, and so I have a lot of my friends who will be my taste testers, because it's been a while. But I'm relying on a recipe, so.
Is there gluten-free bannock out there?
You can. It's not the same, but you can.
Okay. Now, what does this do for people? This is a life-affirming, gender-affirming thing for a lot of people. Why was this so important for you after your own experience to make sure other people have this opportunity?
I think it's exactly like you said. It's life-affirming. It's rooted in our culture to be very accepting and caring of our community members. So doing something like this to support fellow community members is very important, especially as a Two-Spirit person who's grown up in community. I find that is part of my role to be able to help support my fellow community members throughout that.
You mentioned you're in school for social work. This obviously kind of spurs off of that. What's your end goal as a social worker?
My end goal is to move back home. I moved here for school, and a lot of folks have to move down here for school, and I'm really hoping to be one of the folks that come back to help and support the community.
So Bannock for Binders, it's happening at the South Osborne Farmers Market. Tell us a little bit more about it.
Yes, so it's happening on, our first one is July 15th, and then it's from 4 to 8 p.m. And then our second is August 5th, and our third is September 2nd. Yeah.
So people come down, they buy Bannock by the piece or by however a loaf, and where does the money exactly go to then?
So our first community, each selling at the farmers market will go to one organization in northern Manitoba, and it'll just keep switching. And so our first one is the Tri-Community Pride, which is the Tri-Community Pride for the PA, OCN, and the RM of Kelsey. And so then money will be directly going to them.
Awesome. That's Bannock for Binders. It's happening up South Osborne Farmers Market, first on July 15th. Thank you so much, Sunday, for coming in today.
Thank you.
Hello, Nikki Reyes with you inside the SportsCenter newsroom with your must-see moment from Sunday. For that, we'll head to the CFL. Red Blacks taking on the Alouettes. First quarter, Davis Alexander from midfield breaks out of the pocket and airs one out deep to Alexander Hollins. He comes up with a huge diving catch for the touchdown, a 53-yard bomb for 6 points. His first major of the season is a beauty and earns your must-see moment from Sunday. Today on TSN, we've got a full slate of action from the 2026 FIFA World Cup with a round of 32, starting with Brazil taking on Japan. It all starts at 12:45 p.m. Eastern across the TSN network. That's all from the SportsCenter newsroom. Have a great day.
The TSN must-see moment is brought to you by Super Blinds and Draperies, featuring Hunter Douglas products.
It's Monday, June 29th. Wildfires again threaten communities in Manitoba's north. We'll tell you where evacuations have been ordered and which residents are being given priority for temporary relocation. Drug crackdown. Winnipeg police begin a drug impairment sweep. Which areas are coming under special scrutiny and how many arrests were made? And ranch dressing has become a salad sensation for European soccer fans visiting the U.S. Now shipping bottles back home will be just a little more economical. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning and happy Monday. I'm Daniel Halmerson, filling in for Rochelle Legacy today. Joined by Tandy Vera on weather. Good morning.
Morning.
We have a great show, or a great hour ahead. Coming up in about 15 minutes, I'm going to be speaking with Boonstra Farms. They do a lot of berry picking. And after those June 9th storms, we had severe impact for a lot of farmers in Manitoba. So we're going to hear a little bit about how that's affecting them. And speaking of storms, we had yet another round last night, waking us both up around 2:30. That lightning and thunder outside my bedroom window. And we've learned that a tornado did touch down in western Manitoba.
Yeah, and Rossburn was confirmed and possibly near the Roblin area. But yes, that thunderstorm started about 2:30 a.m. with a yellow warning from Environment Canada. I did time the storm. It was about 30 to 50 minutes. And right now the temperature is 19 degrees, mostly cloudy outside, winds gusting northwest at 8 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 87%. So yes, as I said, we did have that storm, and I did partially time how long it was. Again, it was between 30 to 50 minutes with that moderate to severe rain, which is basically what we experienced overnight and might experience later on today. According to Environment Canada, we have a 30% chance of that. But looking right now, as you can see, all this activity that was happening in the morning and overnight in Winnipeg and across the province mostly, not as much up in the north, but you can see some of the icons there. We did have that moderate to severe rain with the lightning bolts that were peeking through the evening time. And also, if you really want to know where it came from, it was tapering in from the west and tapered into the province, and it's going to be like that for the next 2 days according to Environment Canada, with that 30% possibility. But eventually it is going to begin to clear out with maybe some light precipitation in the form of showers, but still cloudy skies with the rain peeking through. But as you can see here, that's that storm that might taper into Winnipeg. So with that 30% chance, you want to have your raincoat or your umbrella close by just in case, because because you never know with Mother Nature, so you want to keep that in mind. But it's eventually going to taper off, and by the time we get into Wednesday, it's going to be mostly sunny with a few clouds in the sky. So looking into your 7-day forecast right now, a high of 24 degrees today and tomorrow as well, with that risk of thunderstorm or light precipitation in the form of rain or showers. But looking into Wednesday and the rest of the week, it looks pleasantly delightful, more like summertime, which is what we want to experience with those sunny skies. Now, looking at the weather art of the day, wow, Allison, this is so beautiful. The sunshine, the rainbow, that's kind of the weather we want to experience right now. Thank you so much, Allison. To submit your child's weather art of the day, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form. Your art can be shown on Your Morning Winnipeg, and will also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift card from Crocodile on Keniston or Regent.
The weather art of the day is brought to you by Crocodile. Spend quality time with loved ones and paint memories together.
Wildfires have forced 3 northern communities to evacuate for the second year in a row.
This is something we didn't want to do. Stay safe out there. We'll do everything we can to make sure you have homes to come back to.
On Saturday, the town of Lynn Lake issued a mandatory evacuation order due to a wildfire posing an imminent threat. The community, about 800 kilometers from Winnipeg, has about 600 residents who evacuated by road and air. Meanwhile, 2 northern First Nations are evacuating their residents due to wildfire impacts. In a statement on Sunday, MKO said residents of Marcel Colombe First Nation and OPCN are evacuating. Marcel Colombe First Nation, located about 800 kilometers northwest of Winnipeg, has evacuated its evacuation plan. In OPCN's case, the community is under a state of emergency and evacuating priority residents, those in need of medical assistance, due to wildfire activity that has cut off access to Highway 493, the only road into OPCN. CTV News has reached out to the Canadian Red Cross and Indigenous Services Canada for additional information. And after months of complaints from residents and businesses, the Winnipeg Police Service is cracking down on open drug use in our city, and already a number of people have been taken into custody and to hospital.
In response to complaints that have been mounting from the community, I'll say it, for months and months now.
It is not something our community should be expected to accept.
As of Wednesday of last week, police started targeting problem areas, mostly in or near downtown. During the 10-day sweep, officers are confiscating drugs from people, making arrests, and sending people to the hospital or directing them to services. Mayor Scott Gillingham is backing this. He says they have a moral obligation to help those struggling with addiction while keeping the public safe.
People should not have to breathe in toxic drug smoke when they're waiting for a bus. Parents should not have to worry about needles in the park. Business owners should not have to deal with open drug use at their front doorstep.
After just 2 days, police say they've already dealt with 100 people using drugs. Of those, 25 were arrested, most for court breaches or open warrants, and 3 were sent to the drug detention center. Police say officers are not taking harm reduction items away. However, if a needle has drugs in it already, that will be confiscated. The U.S. is cutting down its trade deficit, 1 bottle of ranch dressing at a time. UPS has introduced a ship and dip discount for visitors, especially those in Europe for the U.S., visiting the U.S. for the FIFA World Cup, who have fallen in love with ranch. It's a 20% discount on international shipping, good until the end of September. Ranch dressing has become such a big hit, the TSA had to issue guidance on how to pack it for a plane ride. And taking a current look at St. Mary's Road, there traffic moving pretty well. If you do have any traffic tips or updates to share, text them to us at 10400.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
And we're joined now by our Ainsley McPhail, who is in Arborg today up in the Interlake. How's it going up there, Ainsley?
Well, I've been doing a few impressions throughout the morning, so I'd like to add another one. This one is cameraman Kenny after eating a ham and cheese Danish, or one of those buns. So good.
Yeah, I think it's like a cheese bun.
Cheese bun. Still warm. Sky is joining me now. The sawmill. We've been bumping around all morning. 24 different displays and buildings. Sky, tell us about the sawmill.
Yeah, so this is the Stonowski Sawmill. It was built by some of the Stonowskis, and it was owned by Dan and Regina. And it was roughly built between like the 1920s and 30s. And so a sawmill is a large machine that cuts logs into usable timber and, you know, planks that can be built for, like, made for houses and different buildings. And so Dan actually built a few barns and a few houses with this, and he actually built a couple buildings for his neighbor in the Framness area.
If we think about the time, well over 100 years ago, houses and developments are starting. How much of an innovation would this have been to communities?
Oh, this was definitely an innovation. So prior to the age of the sawmill, sills and timber were generally shaped and hewed by hand with an axe. So that would have been a big feat for the pioneer communities back then. So the switch towards the sawmill and the creation of it definitely helped them a lot. And, you know, as their communities were constantly expanding and growing, it definitely made it a lot easier for them to, you know, keep up with it.
And what does it mean to community and I guess the broader Manitoba community as well to have this here to physically see?
Yeah, so it means a lot. So the descendants of the Stonowskis actually came in in the 2020s, and they actually rebuilt this here. And it actually would have been a lot larger than this, but we only have a small piece of it displayed at the village. So it meant a lot to them, and it certainly means a lot to us to see how they would have done this back then. And, you know, there are still sawmills today, but they'd be on a much larger scale. So to just see the first kind of advancements of it and the first, you know,
pretty cool.
Yeah, the first sawmill, it is pretty cool.
Sorry, Sky, we got to wrap it up. Those danishes and buns, they're getting cold. Here from Arborg, we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Ainsley. If you're in the market for a new computer, tablet, or gaming system, be prepared to pay more. Two of the world's biggest tech companies have announced price hikes. CTV's John Vinavelli-Rao reports.
Apple has raised their prices. Online, there's been plenty of outrage.
Dog, look at these price jumps.
With some consumers left speechless by what's being dubbed chipflation.
We expected price increases. We didn't expect them to be this significant.
Both tech giants Apple and Microsoft are putting the blame on a soaring demand for memory chips, driving Apple to hike prices on devices like a MacBook Pro, which is suddenly up $400 to $2,800 Canadian, and an iPad Air up $200 to nearly $1,000, a 25% jump.
Apple have increased their prices quite substantially, actually.
While Microsoft saying the cost of an Xbox is going up as much as $150 on August 1st.
Xbox, no! Xbox
memory chips are in short supply because of the massive build-out of artificial intelligence data centers, which are gobbling up both memory and storage.
It's the same memory that goes into your laptop. That same memory is the same thing that goes into data centers. So everybody is racing to build these data centers, and that's what's eating up all of the world's chips by the truckload.
The major companies that produce the chips are struggling to keep up. Apple writing, "We have never seen a component price increase this much, this quickly." And in a statement, Microsoft says, unfortunately, console storage and memory prices have increased by more than 2.5 times. And we expect another doubling by the fall of 2027.
Many companies have already announced increases in prices. Apple was the last one standing.
Earlier this year, Sony raised the price of some PS5 models by around 150 Canadian. And Nintendo says its Switch 2 gaming systems will go up $50 as of September 1st.
As for Apple's flagship product, the iPhone, it was spared a price hike. But analysts say when the iPhone 18 is unveiled this fall, expect the component crunch to show up in its price. John Vinavelli-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
Outside, as you can see, it's mostly cloudy, but that sun is beginning to peek through. I'm feeling the humidity right now as is. It's quite humid, and with that sunshine, the heat of the sunshine, it's quite intense to feel right now, so you want to keep that in mind. According to Environment Canada, we do have that 30% chance of rain or thunderstorms just across the province, but right now we're at 19 degrees, winds gusting north-northwest at 12 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 89%. Now, as I said, across the province, we're going to be experiencing this type of temperature where it's humid outside, but we still have that chance or risk of light precipitation or a thunderstorm. In fact, right now in Brandon, according to Environment Canada, they're experiencing some light showers at 17 degrees, and that might be for Winnipeg later on during the day, and across the province there is that chance, except up right now in Churchill it's mostly sunny with 6 degrees on tap according to Environment Canada. So yes, grab your umbrella, grab your raincoat, but also grab water. Keep hydrated because it's quite humid outside. Just wearing this coat and feeling the heat, it's quite intense. So according to Environment Canada, the UV index is going to be between 8 or anything higher. So they recommend staying hydrated. They also recommend not spending too much time outside today because of that. So you want to keep that in mind whilst also keeping a raincoat in mind. So much to keep in mind with the weather. It might be like it was on Friday where we had that sunshine, but we had rain and we had clouds. That's kind of the mixed bag we might experience across the province today. So keep that in mind and grab all the things you need. And we're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Your Morning Winnipeg.
The severe storms of June 9th are still being felt by many in this province, including some Manitoba farmers who are still dealing with the aftermath weeks later. Widespread flood damage, damaging hail and winds have affected operations and business at Boonstra Farms in Stonewall. Joining us now from Boonstra Farms is Danielle Boonstra. Good morning, Danielle. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Now, looking behind you there, I know Boonstra is known for strawberry and blueberry picking. Well, tell us about your business and what else you offer.
Well, it's just strawberries and raspberries right now. We don't have blueberries. But as you can see behind me, we did get another inch of rain. Seems like we can't catch a break here. So you can see all standing water. This is just from last night because all the flood water that we did get at the beginning of June has actually soaked into the ground, but you can see all the water in between the rows behind me. So we decided about 10 years ago to start hilling our rows, which turns out to be a good idea because now all that water is now standing in between the rows and not actually on the newly planted strawberries. So behind me, that's about 70,000 plants that we planted at the beginning of June that were pretty much all underwater. And now, as you can see, it's come back again. So we're lucky that we did hill them. So now the standing water is actually in between the rows. So time will only tell to see if these continue to grow, but they're growing now. But yeah, today is actually opening day. So we do have people out picking. We do have lots of strawberries. We are doing pre-picked as we speak now. I have some of my staff out picking. But yeah, the water's still here and I guess still more to come.
What was going through your head on June 9th when that storm hit? I mean, just weeks away from opening day. What were you thinking at that point?
Well, when it started to come, it started off with a light rain and then the hail started to come. That's when we were getting worried because our newly growing strawberries, that's when they're most vulnerable, as well as our established berries. That's when they're all flowering. So if the flowers get hit with the hail, then they can't produce strawberries. So we were getting really nervous because in the town of Stonewall, there was golf ball size hail. We didn't get that size out here, thank goodness, but we did get some hail. We couldn't come out to the field because there was tornado watching, so we didn't really know the damage until the next morning. But we do keep straw in between the rows for the pickers, so it's easy so they don't get full of mud. And that was floating because of all the rain. So we had to do a lot of maintenance because we had to pull all the straw off of all the already plants. So we've had to do a lot of work. We're working on making trenches to get this standing water gone because as you can see in between this road here, there's all standing water. So we're still lots of work to come, but we are open. We're not sure if we're going to be open Canada Day, but we are open. Today is our opening picking day. We're hoping the rain stops a little bit so we can get into these fields to start picking the weeds, but we'll see. And I suggest everybody always to check our website because that's the fastest place I can say that we're closed due to weather. Don't check Google, just check the website, Facebook and Instagram.
What are you hearing from other berry farms in the province? Are others dealing with the same issues as you guys?
I think everyone's dealing with, the same issues. Hopefully other farmers can open up. It's sad to hear that anybody can't open up due to this rain. We're kind of all a big family. We kind of stick together. So hopefully Cormier's, I know they're a big farm. I'm not sure of any other strawberry farms if they had to close, but hopefully we can all get through this together. Last year was a drought. This year's excessive amount of rain. We can't seem to catch a break right now.
Well, hopefully the next few weeks are a lot better than what we've seen for you folks. Are you getting that support through insurance or from the province so far after the June 9th storm?
We're not sure. We have applied for support. We don't have insurance. Strawberry farms, we get insurance for hail, but we didn't get much hail damage that we know of yet. So yeah, we don't have insurance as of right now. So we won't know the damage until the crop actually produces for the rest of the whole season, which lasts about 3 weeks. We won't know the extent of damage yet, but yeah, as of now, we don't have insurance.
Well, here's hoping for some better weather, and folks, get out there and grab yourself some berries. Thank you so much, Danielle, for joining us, and all the best out there.
Thank you.
Now it's mostly cloudy outside. The sun is beginning to peek through. It's 19 degrees, winds gusting north-northwest at 12 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 89%. So right now, 19 degrees for us here in Winnipeg as well as in Portage. I'm going to move aside here so you can see the temperatures. In Brandon, it's 17 degrees. Actually, according to Environment Canada, they're receiving some light rainfall right now, which might be what we will receive as well here in Winnipeg and across the province with that 30% chance. And looking up into the north, as we can see, Churchill is currently at 6 degrees, and it's mostly sunny there, according to Environment Canada, with Thompson at 18 and Lynn Lake at 17 degrees. So again, we're going to be increasing those temperatures between the 20s, the mid double digits of the 20s to about 20 to 25 degrees, a high of 24 for Winnipeg today. And looking at our satellite image, as you can see, we did have those thunderstorms this morning overnight. 2:30 a.m. was the start, and it was quite intense with that moderate rain. It lasted about 30 to 50 minutes of that rain, and by the time it was 5 a.m., Environment Canada had lifted this severe yellow warning, and it was actually just showering, and then it stopped, and now it's mostly cloudy outside. But again, we still might experience those showers. And looking at the time, kids, it's lunchtime for the kids. It's going to be 22 degrees again with that 30% chance of rain or thunderstorms. So pack an umbrella, pack a raincoat just in case. But remember, it's still humid outside, so you want to dress accordingly for that. And then looking into our 7-day forecast, today and tomorrow we'll have those highs of 24 degrees with that chance of rain precipitation. But by the time we get into Wednesday, Canada Day, it's going to be a beautiful day out. Hopefully, if Mother Nature doesn't change on us, with a high of 26 degrees, mostly sunny and cloudy skies, and that's throughout the rest of the week. So we're in for a good week to go out and spend time with the family. Now, looking at the Skywatch pick of the day, how beautiful, Mandy, this beautiful sunset from Victoria Beach. Please keep the pictures coming at Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Weather is brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
It's time to see our sports team moment. Today's picture is from Team Boutte. This curling team won Canada Games trials, and they will be representing Manitoba at the 2027 Canada Winter Games in Quebec City. Congratulations, and thanks, Blaine, for sharing this photo. And you can also participate. Tell us your most memorable fun team moment, attach a picture, and you'll be entered to win a $100 gift card from Chicken Chef. Head to the contest page on our website, ctvwinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form with your answer and picture. Good luck.
Your Manitoba sports team moment brought to you by Chicken Chef, where memories are made.
Operating for more than 50 years, Rainbow Resource Centre is Canada's longest-serving LGBTQ2S+ centre, working to create responsive programs and provide resources to support Manitoba's queer communities. In this month's Commitment to Community, our Ainsley McPhail explains why donor support for United Way Winnipeg has been a lifeline.
It's the go-to spot in Manitoba for resources and support for the 2S LGBTQ+ community. Alice Charles is joining us now, and she is the Director of Programs. What are the programs?
We have quite a few programs here at Rainbow Resource Center. We focus on counseling, program for youth, older adults, and our social groups, and we focus on building like community connections as well.
And with so many individuals coming here to meet those needs, you have the analytics now to back it up.
Oh yeah, 100%. So recently we conducted a survey to kind of assess the state of 2S LGBTQ plus people in Manitoba, and we really found that as a whole, like, there is quite a bit of hope, but really the community is wanting more places to belong and move beyond just acceptance and really into feeling inclusion and safe within the city here.
Well, no doubt. And when it comes to United Way Winnipeg, they're providing the tangible support. How grateful is the agency for that?
Oh, we could not do the work that we do without them. Their funding provides multi-year investment that invests into all of our programs. We have, beyond funding, you know, having a partner that is so reputable in the city has helped us build connections with other organizations and other folks across the city here.
Annika runs the Youth Drop-In here at Rainbow Resource Center, such an important part of the agency. Tell us about what happens.
Yeah, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday evenings after school, we have this youth drop-in for people aged 10 to 21. It's a great space for 2S LGBTQ youth and allies to come, make connections with the community, and just exist in a safe space for a while among their peers.
And no kidding, especially to be able to be around your peers and making those connections. How meaningful is it?
I think it's so meaningful. The relationships that I get to see blossom in that space are so beautiful. These people who are maybe from different schools, maybe even from different communities, who wouldn't meet in any other way, are now creating these bonds that will hopefully last a lifetime.
And the fact that you're coming at it too from personal experience, having been to Rainbow Resource Center, tell us about that.
Yeah, as a teenager, I grew up rurally, and so a space like this was so important for me. I got to come to a dance that was hosted for youth when I was 14 years old, had a great experience, met so many people, and really felt like I was no longer alone.
Oh. And that's still going on to this day. What a special memory.
Commitment to Community is brought to you by United Way Winnipeg, here for Winnipeg.
It is currently 19 degrees, mostly cloudy out there with the sun slowly peeking through. Wind is gusting north-northwest at 12 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 89%. So yes, we experienced those thunderstorms overnight into the early morning. About 2:30 a.m. Environment Canada put that yellow weather warning that lasted until about 5 a.m. when they lifted it, when we were just experiencing some light showers. But as you can see through our satellite image, that was the activity that you can see here that we might experience again overnight. But according to Environment Canada, that might stop by midnight. And looking into today, our high is going to be 24 degrees, winds gusting northeast at 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. Again, that 30% chance of rain or showers or thunderstorms. So you want to keep that in mind when dressing up today. And looking into the evening time, it's going to be 16 degrees, winds gusting south at 15 kilometers per hour. Now, according to Environment Canada, after midnight, that risk of thunderstorm and rain might clear off, but that's just a might, just according, because Mother Nature always switches on us. And by the time we get into tomorrow, we still do have that chance of light precipitation in the form of showers or rain or thunderstorms at 24 degrees, our high as well. But looking into our 5-day forecast, there is sunshine on the horizon. As you can see, mostly sunny skies with a bit of clouds out there. 26 degrees will be a high on Wednesday, which is perfect for Canada today. And it's going to be perfect for the rest of the family to go out and enjoy the rest of the week.
Environment and Climate Change Canada has confirmed a tornado touchdown Sunday near Rossburn, Manitoba. ECCC tells CTV News the Northern Tornado Project will be heading to the area today to gather more information. A possible tornado near Roblin is also being investigated. In general, about 20 to 30 millimeters of rain fell across western Manitoba. Communities with especially significant rainfall include Santa Clara with 80.9 millimeters, Lake Audie with 45.8, and Swan River with 33.5 millimeters of rain overnight into this morning. Indigenous advocates are calling for immediate help to repatriate a significant collection of Indigenous artifacts from a private collection in Switzerland. Some worry if the artifacts aren't returned quickly, they could be split up and sold through private auctions.
Real urgency about this, that we are able to raise this money and return these items back to our people.
The items were in a privately owned museum near Zurich and contain what leaders say are sacred and culturally significant belongings. But with the museum now closed, Indigenous leaders fear sacred pipes and other ceremonial items could be sold off to private collectors. The Bringing Them Home project is now seeking help to raise upwards of $20 million to purchase the items. The artifacts, which include ceremonial items, beaded regalia, and historical weapons, originated from Indigenous nations across Canada, including Manitoba. Carl Stone was part of a delegation that traveled to see the collection firsthand last year, and he says these items hold a lot of meaning.
This is a very important part of the whole healing process for our Indigenous people who live in this land.
The collection has been placed into storage while discussions about its future continue. A lot of Canadian fans went to Los Angeles and watched as one of the greatest moments in our nation's sports history played out. CTV's Andrew Johnson was also there, capturing the excitement.
Their day started here when they took over a bar, turned it into Canada House, and got busy ordering bacon and eggs and beer for breakfast.
We might not experience this again in our lifetime.
Which is why so many were willing to make the last-minute trip, no matter what it took.
We left Cambridge, drove to Buffalo, went from Buffalo down to Dallas, Dallas to here, got here, found a hotel, don't know the city at all, but we found everybody here.
For James Crawford, the journey started 40 years ago.
This is myself on the right.
He was in Mexico to watch Canada at the 1986 World Cup. He has been at every World Cup game the men's team has played ever since.
Completing the dream, watching Canada for 50 years.
Then, 100 strong, they marched through the streets of Los Angeles. A goosebump moment, especially poignant in light of the politics of the past year. The game itself, with its storybook ending in the final minutes, a goal to send Canada to the round of 16, sent emotional fans streaming out of the stadium.
I may have shed a tear. It was amazing.
For Vancouver's captain, Canada, it was a stunning result.
The shot, the corner, the win. It all happened so fast. Yes. My brother's going to the medical tent. I think he's having a jammer.
No.
Yeah, it's exciting.
And now the team that has come further than any before it in Canadian men's soccer history will play its next match in Houston. Some of these fans will meet them there.
For another like 8 or 12 grand or 15 grand or something, we could get to Houston. I'll go home and sell a vehicle or something.
That next match for Canada in Texas on July 4th will not be an easy one. They'll face either Morocco or the Netherlands, two heavyweights ranked in the world's top 10. But for the fans who witnessed history here today in Southern California, anything is now possible. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Los Angeles.
Taking a look at the current traffic situation on the St. James Bridge, there's traffic moving quite well. But if you have any traffic tips or updates to share with us, text them to 10400. And taking a look at your gas prices, in Winnipeg, the average is $1.56. It was $1.60 on Friday, and the lowest price in the city is $1.42 at Udina on Taylor Avenue. All this information is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
Time now for your answers to our question of the day. What's your best memory of Canada Day? For Susan, it's going to the Forks, then the casino. A viewer shared, wearing my orange t-shirt, Every Child Matters, very proudly. For Marlene, celebrating Canada in nature, fun markets with food trucks and live music in parks. Lance says hanging out with his future wife. Unc D shared, my favorite thing about Canada Day is seeing all the families come together as one for our country. For Jen, it's riding bikes with the family to the Forks to watch fireworks. Elaine's best memory was Canada Day in 1994 at Dauphin Country Fest, featuring all Canadian artists. A viewer shared Lac du Bonny Lions pickerel fry. It's so good. We had one comment, we got 100 out of 100. And Tracy says, when my family and I went to Assiniboine Downs one year and I wanted to stand at the railing with my siblings, that is until the fireworks started, I apparently was not a fan of that. Well, thank you all for your responses and happy early Canada Day.
Question of the day, brought to you by Provivo, Manitoba's #1 cool sculpting clinic, science-backed body contouring.
And CTV's Ainsley McPhail has been up in the Interlake in Arborg, and you've added some accessories, some new glasses there, Ainsley. What's that all about?
Well, if you're tuning in right now, this might be the weirdest episode of Little House on the Prairie that you've ever seen. We're at the heritage site in Arborg, of course. Dustin is joining me to tell us all about the space. And things were a little different back then. If you needed literally anything, you'd come into the general store.
So general stores were a huge part of the community back then. They would sell literally everything from the kitchen sink to flour to medicine. They had catalogs, so catalogs would be books filled with all sorts of different items. So you'd sort through them, find what you needed, and they would order it and have it brought to the store for you. The general store was also a community center, so it would have the telephone in it. So the telephone was very important back then because most people did not have one in their house. So it was really the only phone in the area for people to use.
Mm-hmm. And somebody was cutting cheese in Arborg. Tell us about the wheel.
So the cheese wheel there, it was much more common for people to have wheels of cheese back then. So most people would have a cheese wheel slicer like that. So it would perfectly cut triangles into the cheese wheel to make them more manageable.
This is such a neat space. Is there anything else, any little nuggets that you'd like to share with us this morning?
So over there we have a coffee grinder. That's one of my favorite things in the store because you can see how big and industrialized it is compared to something that you just have on your counter today.
It's so different. Okay, hold on. Let me try and put the glasses back on. I was getting a... Oh, I would like to order off of 19th century Amazon the new beam for wagon and stock scale. I don't think there's a natural way to end that.
No, definitely not. But shout out to the summer staff there in Arborg. You're doing an awesome job up there. Thank you, Ainsley. And up on the rooftop, Tandy, what's happening now? A little more rain, or are we seeing a little bit, maybe a little bit of sunshine come through?
So right now it's mostly cloudy. The sun is peeking through, but still mostly cloudy. We still do have that 30% chance of rain and precipitation. But again, as I keep saying when I come out on the rooftop, it's so humid. So you want to keep that in mind. According to Environment Canada, a UV index of 8 or higher. So keep hydrated and don't stay outside for too long. It's currently 19 degrees. Winds are gusting north-northwest at 12 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 89%. So across the province, we're going to have this mixed bag of weather where it's going to be partially cloudy, maybe some sun peeking through, and we also have that possibility of rain and a risk of thunderstorm. 30% chance, as I keep saying throughout the morning. So you want to keep that in mind. Grab a raincoat, grab an umbrella, because Mother Nature can switch up on us at any moment. So you need to keep that in mind as well as with the humidity. So dress accordingly, especially for today and tomorrow. We're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Your Morning Winnipeg.
Weather is brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
A Made in Manitoba sitcom is wrapping up filming on its 5th season. Acting Good is inspired by star Paul Ryblowskis' life growing up in Poplar River First Nation, and the hit comedy is showing no signs of slowing down. The fictional fly-in reserve of Grouse Lake isn't that different from Paul Ryblowskis' home community of Poplar River First Nation in northern Manitoba. But the comedian turned actor says Grouse Lake is a little bit more fun.
This is a cartoon world and this place is crazy, but Poplar River is very crazy too, in the best way possible. Everything that's sort of the human aspect and real of the show comes from Poplar River, and it comes from real people.
And those people and their stories come to life on his CTV comedy channel series, Acting Good.
About a guy who goes home with his tail between his legs and he's just always trying to win over his family, but keeps making a mistake because he's a man-child.
The show is wrapping up filming on its 5th season, and executive producer Phyllis Lang says it's carved out its own identity in the sitcom world.
We have the ability to have Indigenous storytelling that is comedy. That's pretty unique.
And Ryblowskis says Season 5 continues to shed light on life in remote communities and make light of it too.
90% of the stories that come out of the North is negative. It's like, oh man, you know, it's forest fires and it's just crime. And I hope that people watch the show and they sort of can change their minds of how they feel about sort of how the res is portrayed. Because I tell everybody the res is the most beautiful place in the world.
And the series is also breaking down barriers for Indigenous talent like actor Cheyenne Sapp, who plays Ryblowskis' on-again, off-again girlfriend Rose.
As a young Indigenous girl growing up on the res, I didn't see a whole lot of myself and people like me represented on screen. If I can be that person for, you know, who I was when I was small, then that's a great big deal.
The first 4 seasons of Acting Good are streaming on Crave, and Season 5 will premiere on CTV Comedy Channel at a later date.
I think this is by far our craziest, funniest season, and I can't wait for people to tune in.
Daniel Halmerson, CTV News, Winnipeg. There are so many cats and dogs up for adoption, not just in Winnipeg, but all over the province. The city of Steinbach's Animal Rescue has a lot of cuties looking for forever homes. And joining us now from the Steinbach Animal Rescue are Sandra Watson, Janelle Dawson, and Rio. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here. Now, Janelle, first off, let's talk about the dog in the room. Tell us a little bit about Rio.
Yeah, so this is Rio. He came to us from a community outreach program. When he came into rescue, he actually weighed 171 pounds, but we've been working on getting him to a healthier weight so he feels a bit better, and now he's just over 150 pounds. So still a huge boy, but he's such a good heart. He's so good, and he's good with dogs and cats, and yeah, just a good boy all around.
And television hosts. He's
yeah,
doing a great job. Now, Sandra, we know many animals need homes here in Manitoba. What are you guys seeing down in Steinbach these days?
We're seeing an increase in the need to take in animals because of the crisis in the cat overpopulation. There are a lot of colonies that are popping up because people are abandoning animals, and they can't afford spay and neuter, and adoptions have slowed as well. So we're having a bit of a problem with the slower adoptions. We're unable to take in the number of cats that need to come in to even start to begin to make an impact on this crisis that we are seeing. So yeah, we're really hoping that, you know, we can use this airtime to let people know, to speak to their local government representatives. Let them know that they need to see some more funding for reduced cost spay and neuter clinics. We're absolutely in crisis, and we need some help.
And I understand it's not just adoptions you guys are looking for. You're looking for folks to foster animals as well?
Yes, we can always use more fosters. It's really something that we struggle to do.
Janelle, you mentioned another dog that you guys recently took into care. Tell us a little bit about them.
Yeah, so we do have a dog right now, Teddy, who was found as a stray and went unclaimed. Sadly, he came into rescue with some breathing difficulties, so we brought him to the vet right away, and he did test positive for heartworm disease, Lyme, and anaplasmosis. So heartworm is actually transmitted through mosquitoes, and it's a very expensive, lengthy process to treat. So we're hoping Teddy has a smooth recovery, but yeah, he's just in the process of treatment now.
And Sandra, tell us, you know, it does take a lot of money to care for these animals. What are you guys doing to raise some cash?
Well, we have a real great opportunity now for people to win some money. We have a 50-50 raffle that's ongoing until July 31st. The tickets are available online only, so you can go to our website, steinbachanimalrescue.com, click the link, get some tickets, and help us care for these animals in need. The draw's on August 1st, and we're at $13,000. Well, just about $13,000 now.
And there's a barbecue coming up as well that people can come down to Steinbach and check out?
Yes, July 8th, Wednesday, 11 to 1 at Main Street and Lumber in Steinbach. It's a great opportunity to come meet some people and support our rescue.
And Janelle, if someone's looking at Rio on the show right now, what's the best way to get in touch with you guys to maybe arrange a little bit of a meeting?
Yeah, the best way would be to head to our website, steinbachanimalrescue.com, fill out an adoption application, and then a team member from our adoption team will reach out and we'll go from there.
Awesome. Well, Sandra, Janelle, and Rio, thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now looking right now, it's 19 degrees and mostly cloudy, but that sun peeking through. Winds gusting north-northwest at 12 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 89%. So again, a bit of a mixed bag of temperatures this morning. Churchill's going to have 12 degrees of their high. Thompson at 23 degrees. Island Lake 24 degrees. So you want to keep that in mind. We're going to be experiencing these double digits between the 20s right now. 25 degrees for Lynn Lake, but across the province we do have that possibility of precipitation in the form of rain or light showers. The same in Brandon, which is actually experiencing some light showers right now according to Environment Canada. 22 will be their high, 23 in Dauphin, and looking into Winnipeg, 24 will be our high today, but again, that chance of precipitation. So you want to dress accordingly, but also remember that it's pretty humid outside. Now looking into your 7-day forecast, the next few days, we do have those thunderstorms that might linger, but you never know. And with Mother Nature on 26, we're going to have a beautiful day. We're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Your Morning Winnipeg.
Arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center. Salon services provided by Essentique Spa Salon.
Well, we're going to wrap up this morning with some fun videos, Tandy. Get this. Some people have the gift of the gab, and they pass that gift down to their kids. This man is married to a yapper, and now his daily walks sound like this. The talking toddler takes after her mom. And now, rain or shine, they go out, and she talks while he listens and loves every minute of it.
That's me every day.
Same. Sometimes when things aren't working out, you need to take matters into your own hands. She dropped the elbow. So these kids are trying to break the piñata and get to the treats. Now, when hitting it doesn't work, this little girl pulls out the wrestling moves, goes Macho Man Randy Savage off the top rope with the flying elbow, and her mom says the daughter learned those moves from her.
That jump was crazy.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you back here tomorrow.